You're watching KOCO5. Breaking news is happening now.
Jessica Shambach and Evan Onstadt here following breaking news of reports of a shooting at Penn Square Mall. This is happening right now. Active situation there at Penn and Northwest Expressway. Evan, you just talked to a woman, a witness, who says she was inside the mall when the shooting happened.
She says she was inside the Eddie Bauer store. She was a customer doing some shopping there. And she said that she heard a number of gunshots. She said at least 5, she told me. Pop, 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 very fast. She said everybody inside the store, there was about 15 to 20 people, again, inside Eddie Bauer. This happened outside that store. She said it sounded close, but she can't say for sure. She heard those gunshots. She says people were screaming, as we see a live picture here of the Penn Square Mall parking lot. And at that point, she says that everybody screamed and ran out the back of the store, that employees actually ran them through their storeroom and then out the north side of the mall, where when I was speaking to her, she was in her car still in the parking lot. She says she was still shaking. She did not hear anything about victims, suspects, anything like that. All she said is that she heard at least 5 gunshots in fast, rapid succession, and everybody got out of there. She says there's a lot of police presence right there. There's helicopters overhead, and that she's obviously very scared right now.
And what you're looking at here, this live picture, our crew arriving on scene, they're actually in the parking lot just across from the mall. And if you look close enough, you can see the police cars. It looks like maybe there are even some police officers that are there, perhaps directing traffic there, people just standing by watching. There are a lot of police cars in this area, heavy police presence. We're still working to get confirmation on exactly who was shot, if they are still considering this an active shooter situation, all the details there, but our crew's arriving on scene for you right now. But it's certainly a scary situation. Think about it, this time of year, the mall is packed with shoppers doing their holiday shopping right now. I was looking at Twitter and it was just lighting up with people talking about the situation at the mall. One woman said that she was on her way in and a bunch of people were running out and said, don't go inside. There's a shooting that just took place. But of course, we just heard from this witness who said at least 5 shots fired there, and our crew going out right now talking to officers to see what they can get confirmed on this reports of a shooting there at Penn Square Mall.
All right, so we're going to try to get some people on the phone here for you, but what we're trying to do right now is, again, we're looking for confirmation for facts. We're not going to say anything right now unless we absolutely have it confirmed from multiple sources or from authorities themselves of what is what. So is this an active shooter? We have no idea right now. There is no evidence to say that there is still any shooting going on inside the mall. How many victims? We do not know at this point. All we can say is that we do know that there are reports of a shooting. I spoke to a witness who heard multiple gunshots. They ran out the store, and now they are staying out with a large police presence here at the time. We
are working the phones back here in the newsroom. Of course, we're working right now to get that witness on the phone so you can hear directly from her. And if we can, we have a crew on scene right here. If we can even get them on the phone and they can describe the situation of what they're saying. This is a fluid, active situation. So we're working to get what we can right now to you as our crew is arriving there on scene. Again, reports of a shooting at Penn Square Mall. Witnesses telling us they heard shots fired there at the mall. A witness who was inside shopping, and all of a sudden, I mean, what a scary situation, and you hear a gunfire. And what do you do?
Yeah, exactly. You get out of there as fast as you can, and luckily, these stores have back exits to get out that employees use to into storerooms and stuff like that. But again, she was in the Eddie Bauer store. She says she could not say how close they were. Gunshots are very loud, especially in an enclosed place like a mall. That sound can really echo. And so something that perhaps is right on top of you or isn't right on top of you sounds like it is. But she says it sounded like the gunshots were close there outside the Eddie Bauer area. If you're familiar with the mall, you know where we're talking about. I believe she was on the first floor. And Dina, are you there? This is Evan Onstadt. We just spoke on the phone, and I'm so sorry to make you go through all of this one more time for us here live on the air, but we appreciate you telling this story one more time. You were inside Eddie Bauer. Can you please tell me what happened next?
I was inside Eddie Bauer. There were probably 15 to 20 people inside that store. The mall is really busy right now, and I was actually just waiting on one of the people that work there to look for something in the back, and all of a sudden we just heard gunshots I heard about 5 gunshots go off. Everybody started screaming and running towards the back of the store. And we just went through the storeroom and out the back way. We were probably all out of that store before the police even arrived here.
And you said it was a packed store at the time.
Yeah, there were 15 to 20 people in that store, and that's a little store, but the mall, the parking lot is packed. It was hard even finding a parking space when I got here.
And Dina, as we're speaking to you, we just got confirmation that there is one injury. We've confirmed that with Oklahoma City Police. One person is injured right now. Oklahoma City Police just reporting, they just sent out a tweet 9 seconds ago saying they're working a shooting call there at Penn Square Mall, and they'll update as details emerge. Of course, we're working our sources as well. And Dina, we still want to keep you on the phone. So you were able to get out of the store through a back way. What was the situation like? Were there a lot of people that were running out of the mall at that time, running for cover? Tell us what you were seeing and what you were hearing.
Well, just everybody was screaming and just trying to push their way out. There were several people that had kids with them and just trying to get them out. I was trying to help a lady that had a double stroller get through the storeroom to get out the doors. And as we came out, you see from the other exits that people were coming out of all the exits around us and just running towards their cars, and just was craziness.
Dina, were people leaving? I know that you went straight to your car, and last I spoke to you, you were still sitting there in the parking lot. Is that still the case?
Yes.
Do you think other people have left, or are people kind of hanging around the scene right now, people who were there? Do you have any idea?
There's still lots of cars in the parking lot. I don't know if everybody got out of the mall. I know there were a lot of them that did. I don't know if the cars around me, there's only a couple people in the cars, so I'm not sure. There were still people coming out for a while, but there hasn't been. The police are at every entrance, and there's nobody coming out of the mall at all.
Dina, briefly, for people who have not been inside Penn Square Mall, or it's been a while, can you explain to me what else is around that Eddie Bauer store? Where is it in the mall?
It is on the west side. You'd go in from the west entrance. There, next to the Dillards, you can just go straight in. The Pepperoni Grill is right there. And it's just in that wing of the mall, and it's on the bottom floor. I'm not sure if the shooter was on the bottom floor or the top floor. It just sounded like he was very close.
Dina, we thank you so much for taking the time. I know that we've already gone through this on the phone, off the air a couple of times. We appreciate you sharing those details. I know this was a very scary thing for you today, so thank you very much, Dina. We appreciate it. We
have our reporter now, Dylan Richards, who's on scene. We want to go live to him right now. Dylan, what are you seeing? What are you learning? What do you have confirmed at this moment?
Well, guys, I want to show you real quick what this looks like right here. We're on the south side of Penn Square Mall. You can see a very active police presence here. We got the choppers overhead, EMSA on scene as well. They've cleared this section of road between where I-44 goes over Northwest Expressway, kind of over to Penn. This area is clear. Traffic deadlocked around this area. I want to bring in Corey. He works at the Apple store inside Penn Square Mall. I just saw you running across the street, Corey.
Yeah.
Just kind of came up to you. What happened? What'd you see?
So we were just like all doing our thing in the Apple store, just, you know, how it goes. And then, we heard a loud bang, and we weren't sure if, because, sometimes sounds happen, and you're just like, okay, is it really a shooting or not? And then there's 2 more, and then a lady screams, and then you hear just get out, and then everybody just runs to the back of the store and just goes out the back.
And so you heard what sounded like maybe 3 or so shots.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, there was definitely multiple shots is what I heard, and that's really it, honestly.
And so at what point, you heard the shots, and did you all just start running right away?
Well,
what happened right after?
Well, what happened is we heard the shots, and everybody just stopped. It went dead silence, and then we heard more shots, and somebody screamed, and then that's just when everybody just lost it and just ran out the back.
And when you say lost it, just describe me, what did you see?
Everybody just running at once, and no one really screamed. Everybody was just kind of silent while running to the back, and we were just hey, just come back here, come back here.
Oh, so you ran to the back of the actual Apple store. So you didn't run out the front door of the Apple store, you went to the back.
Yeah, we just ran out the back door is what it was.
So the Apple store does it have a back door that goes outside?
There's exits to the back, yeah.
And so once you were outside, what happened next?
We just all kind of ran to the back of the parking lot over there, and everybody just kind of waited, and some people went back in to, I don't know why you'd go back in there to that, but Some people went back in, some of us stayed, and when I ran out, I just ran and got into my car and hung out over here, and I'm just walking back now to it. So.
And what has happened since then? I mean, have you gone? You said you went back over to that side of the street and then came here.
Yeah, so I came back just to make sure, like, what we were doing and what's going to happen. And a lady said, like, that apparently it happened in the food court, and she didn't say if anybody was hurt or anything, though. So.
And so you heard the first shot and kind of thought, I don't know what this is. When you realized those are gunshots inside of the mall, what went through your mind?
I mean, that's kind of like a fear that everybody has working at the mall is like, is it going to happen to our mall, or is it going to not ever happen and we're just going to be lucky? But yeah, like, it's just something that's always lingering over your head, and it just finally happens. And I'm just glad I made it out so I could see my wife again, so.
And so that was even going through your mind, if I got to get out,
Yeah, like I was just like, I just got to get home to my wife and just make sure she's okay.
Had you ever thought before, you kind of said, I mean, working in a mall, this is one of the things you think about. Had you ever thought before that something like this could possibly happen?
I mean, everybody knows, like, Crossroads, just like it's not the best area. And this area is just, right by Nichols Hill, so you wouldn't really expect that. And then, it just became a reality. It can happen to anybody, basically. So.
Now that you're out, have you called your wife? Have you talked to her?
Yeah, I called my wife and my mom, so they both know I'm okay.
And what were those conversations like?
My wife was just crying, and she was trying to come here, and my mom was just really grateful that I was okay. So.
Anything else you can think of? Anything else that stuck out to you about what's gone on, or how you're feeling now that you're okay and that you're outside now?
Yeah, I'm glad that I made it out okay. I'm glad everybody in our store, to my knowledge, made it out okay. And, I'm just really thankful that, we were on the outside of the mall so we all could get out. But I really hope that no one is hurt, because, I mean, that's just, terrible. It's a sad thing.
Corey, hang out for just 1 second. I want to update anybody who is just now joining us here. We're live just on the south side of Penn Square Mall. I want to show you one more time what we're looking at here. We've been told of a shooting that happened inside of the mall, possibly in the area of the food court. We believe that one person has been injured in this shooting. You can see a very, very busy scene here. Police, EMSA, fire, all sorts of first responders on scene here. The police chopper flying overhead, circling this area as well. Between Penn and where I-44 goes over Northwest Expressway, so Classen over there, this whole area has been locked down, the road at least. There's no traffic going through here. Obviously this time of day, this would be a very busy area. And to the west, that area completely deadlocked right now as police trying to keep people away. You can see we're looking west down Northwest Expressway. You can see over there, you can imagine all that traffic getting diverted as they investigate exactly what happened here. Mark, if you want to look in that direction one more time, between these two Dillard signs here, that's going to be the food court in that area of the mall. We believe that is where this occurred. We believe it happened in that general area. We're waiting to hear more from police right now and learn exactly what's happening. We have another fire truck that's coming up to the scene right now, but obviously you can see a whole lot of people who've walked out to their cars and who are okay, thank you, Corey, I appreciate it. Who have arrived on scene here. You can see a lot of people in the parking lot, whether they're reuniting with their cars or like Corey was, calling loved ones and letting them know, hey, I'm okay, in case they're seeing this on the news. You can just imagine how many people would have been inside of Penn Square Mall at a time like this, not just people working at the many stores inside of this mall, but people who are doing holiday shopping right now, who are inside of this mall doing that holiday shopping. You never expect anything like this, and now people are dealing with that reality that they were either evacuated or had to scramble you can imagine in that moment what you thought was your life, scrambling out of a store and out of a packed mall in a moment like that. So we're continuing to watch that response right now. If you look off to the right, Mark, in that direction, you can see even more fire and EMSA, as well as police who are securing this scene right now. So we will continue to follow exactly what's going on live on scene right now. I'm looking at another EMSA truck that has just arrived right now. So we're going to gather as much as we can on this scene, figure out exactly what's going on. For now, I'll send it back to you all in the studio.
Dylan Richards reporting live for us. Thanks so much. We want to thank the Apple Store employee who spoke as well, talked about just wanting to get home to his wife after that. And you think about an Apple Store which is packed any time of day, any day of the year. You think about it a week before Christmas, how slammed that place must have been.
That store and really the entire mall.
The entire mall. You see the parking lot there, which is an absolute traffic jam. You did see officers telling people that were getting out, he's like trying to get them to get out the door, out the door.
And we do know that I-44 eastbound and westbound, the on-ramps, which just runs right next to the mall, I-44 east and westbound on-ramps right there at Northwest Expressway are shut down. Sky 5 is overhead right now. Our Sky 5 pilot, Chase Rutledge, is getting a view from above. Chase, what are you seeing?
Guys, there are plenty of police cars surrounding the mall right now, and the entrances are blocked everywhere. You're not going to be able to get through there. Traffic is at a standstill all around the mall, and you can just imagine how chaotic this is. As we were flying around the mall earlier, we saw people on the outside of the mall as they're evacuating the building, people standing outside wondering what's going on in there. I know many of them are wondering what happened. Many of them know that there was a shooting in the mall, but right now as they're evacuating people out this exit right here, you can see this is right there by the Texas State Brazil. This is where they're evacuating a lot of the people. But like I said, a major police presence here as they're continuing to investigate what's happening here at Penn Square Mall. We're definitely going to keep an eye on this. I know we got Dylan on the ground down there doing a great job. And we're going to fly around the mall just a little bit more to give you a better vantage point of what's happening around the perimeter of Penn Square Mall here. And we're going to keep a close eye on this. Reporting live from Sky 5, I'm Chase Rutledge. Back to you guys.
All right, Chase, thank you. And you see the view from above, and he's going to continue to stay up there as this situation continues to unfold right now. He said police are surrounding the mall, and traffic around there is just at a standstill. As you can imagine what it's like during normal operating times. Without a situation like this, it's already a mess. And then you enter a shooting situation. You enter some gridlock here, emergency crews arriving on scene. We have Dylan Richards, who's on the ground for us. He's had a chance to talk to a witness. Evan, I know you spoke with a witness. We actually just talked to her moments ago as well. People who were saying they heard shots fired there as they were shopping.
Multiple gunshots. By the way, we're just going to be staying on the air for you. In fact, we're just going to say it. You are now watching the KOCO News at 5 o'clock here at 4:32 on your Thursday afternoon. Multiple shots fired. Oklahoma City police confirming that one person has been injured. In fact, I believe that there was a tweet that they just sent out that we can put up on the screen right now. Reading this, currently working a shooting call at Penn Square Mall. Will update as details emerge. Please avoid the mall at this time. Since then, we've been able to confirm our news desk calling the police station and getting the confirmed details. One person injured. And as that's the details really that we're following right now. We have people in the air, we have our crews on the ground as we're trying to wait for more details to emerge. But again, we are hearing from multiple witnesses now, multiple gunshots. One person inside the Eddie Bauer store saying that she heard multiple, what sounded maybe like 5 gunshots. Another employee at the Apple store saying that he heard maybe 3 gunshots, maybe more than that, certainly multiple. Both people in both of those stores evacuating out the back of the store, staying out of the middle of the mall and running to safety. That's where we stand right now.
And we have a crew on scene right now. KFCO's Dylan Richards. He had a chance to talk to that worker from the Apple store. And Dylan, let's talk about the traffic situation that you're seeing right now. So we know that the on-ramps there at I-44 east and westbound are blocked off. Are you seeing, a while ago we saw cars that were actually leaving the mall. Are you seeing traffic leave the mall parking lot right now, or are they, locked down in there?
At least where we are right now, I mean, I don't know about that car that just passed us. At least where we are right now, you can take that look right there. We don't think that there's any cars leaving the south parking lot here of the mall. We're just on the south side near where the Dillard's entrances are and where that Joseph A. Bank entrance is. Don't see any cars leaving from this area. The south side of Northwest Expressway obviously has some stores and different things over here. People are leaving out of this parking lot. But other than the couple of cars we're seeing on the road coming out of those other parking lots, this section of Northwest Expressway, sort of between Classen and Penn, is locked down. No cars coming through here again, besides a couple that are trickling out of the parking lots south of the mall. You can see, though, what we're looking at in the mall parking lot. You can see it packed with first responders, police, fire, EMSA, all on scene right now. You can see one of the fire crews right there. Mark, can you see that right there? They've got their ladder up, and we can actually see a firefighter. I'm not sure if he's coming down off the ladder, if he's going up it right now, but it looks like it's going up to the roof of the mall, that ladder right there. So we'll watch that, see if we can figure out what's going on right there. The traffic situation, though, that you asked about, Jessica, is as you can imagine, completely gridlocked. We just got this call, and I was a little bit to the west of here, just up Northwest Expressway, working on another story and just trying to get to this scene. As this was unfolding, we were getting passed by officers, but things were completely deadlocked coming this direction. And you can imagine that's just gotten worse as this has gone on. Obviously, police trying to keep away any extraneous people. And now you can see some cars being allowed to leave the mall. This is the first cars I've seen allowed to leave the mall. Not sure. Obviously, we would think these may be people who were inside the mall who are now allowed to leave. Obviously, one of the first things they do is figure out exactly where any incident has happened after an incident like this has happened. And they keep around people, as many people as possible, who may have witnessed what happened to figure out exactly what occurred. But you can see that happening right now, and you can see some people going east as well. But, you know, a very scary situation for anybody inside of this mall. That gentleman that you mentioned who we were just talking to, Corey, he's an Apple Store employee. He told me that he heard at least 3 shots. Like Evan said, it may have been more. We heard at least 3 shots. The first one, he wasn't sure exactly what it was, but once those other shots started coming, he did know what they were. And he told me that it was one of those moments where, somebody who's working at a mall, you just fear, and in this day and age, as sad as it may be, he said you just fear something like this possibly happening. He said this is one of those things, working inside a mall, inside of a busy public place like this, you just worry that something like this could happen. And he said in this case, once those extra shots, he heard those additional shots past that first noise, that's when he started to realize, we need to get out of here. And a bunch of people kind of went to the back of the Apple Store. Thankfully, they had a rear exit that they were able to leave and get out of the mall. He was able to call his wife and his mom and let them know that he was okay. Now, obviously, we don't know the extent of the situation inside of the mall. We're awaiting more information from police. What we've heard from police so far is that at least 1 person was injured inside the mall. We think that happened in the area of the food court. We don't know if this would be considered an active shooter situation. We don't know anything additional beyond that witnesses heard those gunshots and that we do believe 1 person was injured somewhere in this incident. And that is what we know right now. But police inside of the mall, as you can imagine, were treating this as serious as possible. You can see a huge crowd. You can see a crowd outside of the mall, just outside of the Penn Square entrance right there, of people. You can just imagine inside of the Penn Square Mall. I'm sure many of you, as have I, have been inside of this mall, and you can just imagine how busy it would be this time of day, especially around the holidays, people doing last-minute Christmas shopping inside of the mall. You can just imagine how busy this would have been, and now we are seeing a lot of folks outside on the south side of the mall in that parking lot. So we're starting to see people kind of trickle out and gather in that area. We're waiting to figure out exactly, to get our first kind of on the ground update from police who are on scene. We're waiting to hear from public information about exactly what happened here. Obviously, our outstanding questions include, has whoever did this, any suspected shooter, has that person been caught or apprehended at this time? What are the extent of any possible injuries? And is this scene, is this still an active scene? Obviously, we're looking at what appears to be a very active scene, but is any shooter apprehended? Is a shooter down? Do we know any of that information right now? But obviously, a very busy scene here and very early in this investigation. Police still in the responding stages right now, and this is one of those calls that they send everybody that they can think of in a case, in a situation like this, just because you don't know the extent of an incident like this. You don't know what it may be when you get here. And so they do send a large number of units, as well as EMSA, as well as fire. Evan and Jessica.
Dylan Richards reporting for us live. We really thank you, Dylan. It's just sad, Jessica, to be honest, when we're looking out here. Here it is, the holiday season, a week before Christmas. We got these crowds of people inside the mall. Now they're outside of the mall. As somebody in there was it sounds like, shot today. That's what we're hearing confirmed from Oklahoma City Police.
Just absolutely
it's
terrifying.
Just
I mean,
it's
you
horrifying.
could have families who were there in the mall today, and now you have people who were gathered outside, walking out, really probably just trying to figure out what's going on and where they're able to be let out. It looks like a lot of people are filing out of the mall right now. Now, we have heard reports here in the newsroom. We're working to get this confirmed. We heard reports in the newsroom that they are clearing stores in the mall right now. Sky 5 is overhead, and you can see just the amount of people in the parking lot, the police presence. We've seen police cars surrounding the mall, fire crews. Actually, it looks like I'm seeing a firefighter that may be pushing a stroller walking out of the mall right now. You see adults, you see children, and it's a traffic mess around there as well right now. If you're just now joining us, shots fired inside Penn Square Mall. This is Penn and Northwest Expressway, an extremely busy area of the metro any time of the year, but especially during the holiday shopping season. And you just see dozens and dozens of people now out in the parking lot. We heard reports that the stores are being cleared after shots were fired. We know one person was injured. We heard reports that it was up in the food court where those shots were fired. We've talked to witnesses, people who were shopping. We talked to a worker as well. One witness told us at least 5 shots were fired. A worker said he heard at least 3 shots. Both of them ended up running out the back door to get out of the mall. And no doubt these people, perhaps maybe they were hiding inside the mall, trying to find a safe place, trying to hunker down until they got word that they were able to leave.
So, Jess, I will say that, you know, we don't like getting into what stuff that we're seeing on social media too much, but I have seen tweets from people who say that they were hiding inside the mall, in the store that they were in, waiting to be, you know, for maybe police to come through and to clear them and to make sure that it was okay to be safe. I have seen tweets like that. I've seen other tweets from people saying that they have family members either working there or people who had just recently shopped there or know that they have family members shopping there at this time. As people, as we saw, we're still exiting the mall here just recently. So maybe those are people who are hunkered down in stores waiting for police to tell them it is safe to get out.
And well, which makes sense because we had just heard the reports that they were clearing stores in the mall. So that would make sense that they were now filing out of there. You know, one thing that we're not seeing right now, we're not seeing officers that have guns drawn, that are, you know, running up into a defensive position. Now, we don't know what's happening inside. This is just outside. They want to make sure that everyone's safe here. They can control traffic, keep the situation calm, talk to witnesses as well. What's happening inside, that's what we're still waiting to get word of right now. We have Sky 5 above showing you the scene. We have Dylan Richards, who's on the ground as well, and crews back here in the newsroom trying to get any piece of information that we can get confirmed for you.
Let me take you back through some of the witness testimony that we've already heard so far. People talking to us. If you've been with us, you heard Dina Tate speak to us live on air on the phone. She was a customer inside an Eddie Bauer store. Eddie Bauer's on the first floor of this mall. It's near Pottery Barn. It's near Madewell. It's down the hall from the food court. And on a separate level, the food court's on the second level, I believe, there at Penn Square Mall. But she said that it was so loud, those gunshots. She described it as a pop, 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 pop. Loud bangs. It sounded, she said, like it was coming from right outside that Eddie Bauer. Now we're hearing that maybe it happened somewhere else in the mall, but that shows you just how loud a gunshot can be inside an enclosed space like a mall where the sound is just going to reverberate. And what we heard from her, and what we heard from the Apple Store employee, Corey, that Dylan was speaking to, was that the reaction was, you don't want to say panic, but it was screaming and running and everybody doing everything they could to get out as fast as they could.
Let's see if we can get up into Sky 5, if we can talk to Chase Rutledge and hear what he's seeing right now. And he's been focused on this one area. I'm curious to see if he could pull out a little bit so we could see just a little bit more surrounding the mall of what I'm assuming that this is probably the most active situation because this is what we've kind of stayed over. I'm curious, though, to look at some of the other emergency vehicles that have staged around the mall as well. You see that fire truck right there. Okay, so maybe they can zoom in on that fire truck. It looks like the fire truck has a ladder that is going to the roof. They just pan down a little bit. You'll see a fire truck with a ladder right there. And it looks like the ladder is going to the roof there just at the Dillard's store. So it makes you wonder if they're trying to get access to get on top of the building there. You see, trying to see if we can zoom in to see if anyone is on the roof of the mall.
It would make sense, Jess, because there are, you know, those skylights in there. And
right.
So you could get an aerial position and actually see down in it. And so officers could absolutely do that. I did want to say that we do have now our Portia Riley, our reporter at OU Med, where she's joining us live at this time. Portia, what can you tell us?
Yes, Evan, right now we know police have confirmed that one person's been injured. They aren't saying if that person was shot or the extent of their injuries, but right now, like you said, we're here at OU Medical. As you can see, there's a couple ambulances here. We've seen them with 2 of the doors open. Right now, we aren't sure exactly who are in those, but we're hearing that the person that was injured was transported here. We'll keep you updated as soon as we hear more. Again, super scary situation. I'm going to go and talk to some OU medical staff to see if we can get more information on what this scene is that you're looking at right now.
Super scary is right. Portia Riley, thanks so much. I mean, a shooting at a mall a week before Christmas. We have our Dylan Richards there on the scene outside the mall. He already spoke to one witness who worked at the Apple store. Dylan, I understand that you have other people who were inside the mall at the time.
Evan, yeah, I was just talking to Krista, and remind me of your name, Josh. So you all were in the Apple store as well. What did you all see?
It was more what we heard. We heard 1 gunshot, and then a woman screamed, and we heard 4 more. And everybody just started running towards the emergency exit. And we just followed. We were so lucky to be that close to an emergency exit, and we were probably some of the first people out. And so then we just immediately ran across the street just to get out of there. It was loud, though.
Yeah.
Very scary.
Very loud.
So what did it sound like?
You know, at first it didn't even sound like a gunshot. We thought that maybe somebody had fallen, or because it wasn't super loud where we were, but it was loud enough to where it was noticeable.
Well, and
so
don't think immediately that it's a gun.
No, we didn't think that was happening where we were, you know.
Until everyone started running.
Yeah.
We actually had to stop people to let a baby and her mom out.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Wait, tell me about that. So what happened?
Just workers and everybody in the Apple store running towards the door, and then a few of us saw that there was a baby in a stroller, and we all just stopped and let them through.
That was great. Everybody let all the children through first, and
they got out into their car and got out, I'm pretty sure.
And so once you all realized that these were actual gunshots going off, I mean, when that realization kind of set in, what went through your mind?
What if he follows us?
Yeah, I just pictured I mean, you know, we hear all these terrible stories of these people being held hostage in all these public places. I just pictured a guy coming in with an assault rifle, and that was it, you know. But luckily that wasn't the case for us. We're really lucky.
One of the things you said to me was the fact that you were so close to an emergency exit and were able to get out was a God thing. Do you all feel blessed to be outside right now and be okay?
Absolutely. I definitely was just telling him that I feel like God led us to the back of the Apple store and we were able to get out so quickly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I feel for everybody in there still, and I'm praying for everybody in there still.
And you all told me you ran across the street. What brought you across Northwest Expressway here, and did you literally sprint right across the street?
We did. We just we've been to this bookstore before. We thought that might be a good idea. Didn't really know what to do.
Just wanted to get out of the parking lot.
As far away as possible.
And at this point, I know it's setting in that this did actually happen. This is one of those things that in this day and age, people think, well, what if it happened? No, it's never going to happen. Is that kind of how you guys are feeling right now, or how are you all feeling about? I mean, do you feel shocked that this happened, that kind of thing?
Violated. Yeah, I feel completely violated and wronged. I'm angry, but at the same time, I also feel lucky and blessed. It's a really strange dichotomy.
And you all were doing what you're doing, Christmas shopping inside?
Yeah. Yep, we were just Christmas shopping.
Yep.
Anything else that sticks out to you? If you can describe to me, your emotions right now. What does it feel like? What should people know about how people were feeling inside in those moments?
We were out of there probably within a minute, and we're still shaken up and still this scared. I can't imagine what they're going through, the people that are stuck in closets or waiting for police officers to come get them out. I have a new respect for police officers after this, and it's a lot scarier than you would ever think it would be. Even if you got out immediately, it's gonna traumatize you.
I think that everybody should just love each other and remember what this season's actually about, and just use your brains, people. Come on. There's no need to take guns into a mall. Never.
Chris, so Josh, thank you. I'm so glad you guys are okay. Thank you for telling me what you saw. I want to just update you guys on what the scene looks like right now. You can take a look across the street and just see how busy this scene continues to be. It feels like it's been about, I don't know the exact time that this started, but it has been quite some time since this began. You can see off to the left there, Mark, you may be able to see through the trees. It's kind of far away, but you can see people being led out of the mall, out to their cars right now, and we have seen an increased presence of the fire department, who continues to be on scene, increased presence of law enforcement, but we are starting to see people who have been able to kind of reunite with their vehicles and get out, head west on Northwest Expressway, get over to Penn over there, and then go on to home or wherever they're needing to get to. Chris and Josh, for instance, from Norman, trying to get, they ran right across the street. This is the only place they could think to go, and so they are continuing to do that, and we are continuing to watch exactly what's going on here, continue to follow this investigation. We're waiting to get updates from police right now. We expect to hear from one of the captains at some point as he has gone into the mall area and into their staging area across the street to learn exactly what's happened. We have a lot of outstanding questions, but we are hoping to hear from police very soon. Evan and Jessica.
Dylan Richards live for us right now. The big question is anyone in custody, and that's what we're working on trying to find out for you. One person we know hurt at Penn Square Mall, a shooting situation. We've heard from witnesses. Some say that 5 shots were fired. Just imagine the chaos. It's already packed in the mall, and all of a sudden you hear a shot, you hear a woman scream, and then you hear more shots. Some people ran for cover. They went to hide. Some people, they ran out the back door. They ran wherever they could just to get out of the mall. As we saw, it was as a mass exodus not that long ago as police looked to be clearing the stores and people were let out of the mall, and we're starting to see more people let out of the parking lot as well. But a scary situation today in the metro there at Penn Square Mall. A shooting situation, Sky 5 overhead. We have ground crews as well working to get any new information for you at this point, but we can confirm that one person is hurt.
And we don't know the condition of that person in any ways. For what it's worth, I will mention that the Penn Square Mall, which is owned by a company called Simon Malls, has a no-gun policy of any kind. No weapons allowed, whether it's concealed or otherwise. If you have a permit, it doesn't matter according to the mall policy. And in fact, I double-checked that. That is their updates as of this year, according to their website. That is the policy. So obviously that gun was not, by the mall's point of view, not supposed to be there at the time, nor was anybody else around when you think of perhaps a Good Samaritan situation or somebody like that. That was not available to happen because of the policy here. We'll be curious to see exactly what happens when it comes to the suspect. Was this somebody that was caught quickly? Is this person still on the run? They certainly have that property surrounded on all sides, and they've shut down traffic in some places. You mentioned the on-ramp and off-ramp off of I-44 right there at Northwest Expressway.
That's right. I-44 east and westbound on-ramps. Last word was that they were shut down at Northwest Expressway, so they were making sure to clear that area as they are letting some traffic out on some sides of the mall. We understand that police are still clearing stores right now. So just think about the number of people who were in the mall today. It's going to be packed. It's the holiday season.
Thousands.
It's a mall. It's always busy, it seems. And then you add the holiday season and that mall in particular and that traffic around that area. It's just a busy spot to be. You saw a tweet just a moment ago from Oklahoma City Police. It's the last tweet that they had sent out, basically saying that they were responding to the mall of shots fired there inside the mall. One person hurt, and you see the map of just where Penn Square is located there at Penn and Northwest Expressway, just off of I-44. And we're hearing reports that the shooting took place in the food court. If you've been to the Penn Square Mall before, you know the food court is on the 2nd level. It's upstairs, somewhat centrally located in Penn Square Mall. And right now, crews are working to continue to clear the stores to get people out of there. We have Sky 5 overhead showing you the scene. As we've seen so many people who have been just standing by in the parking lot. No doubt police are trying to talk to as many witnesses as they can, as well as, you know, we're just trying to get a word on the suspect. Yep. Is there a suspect in custody? Are they still looking for a suspect right now?
Imagine the terror that people had there in the mall as this happened. I spoke to a woman earlier here. If you're just joining us, her name's Dina Tate. She was shopping inside Eddie Bauer, and I asked her to describe the situation. We have that sound for you to listen to again.
I was inside Eddie Bauer. There were probably 15 to 20 people inside that store. The mall is really busy right now, and I was actually just waiting on one of the people that work there to look for something in the back, and all of a sudden we just heard gunshots. I heard about 5 gunshots go off. Everybody started screaming and running towards the back of the store, and we just went through the storeroom and out the back way. We were probably all out of that store before the police even arrived here.
And that was Dina Tate, a witness who heard it happen. And you hear from the different witnesses we talked to, and it seems like they've all said we heard a loud bang and then quiet, a scream, and then we heard more shots to follow.
And she said, and she was down, you know, she was on a different level. That Eddie Bauer's on the first level of this mall. The food court's on the second level. It's down the hall because Eddie Bauer's right next to the Pottery Barn, the Madewell. And she said it sounded like it was right outside the store. It was that loud and just pop, 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 very, very loud, fast succession once the gunshots started going.
It looks like we have a live picture. You see, of course, Sky 5. We have our ground crew there at the mall as well, and then it looks like that's OU Medical Center. That's where one of our reporters, Portia Riley, has been standing by, trying to just get some information on the victim here, because we know that one person has been shot. We're still working on just confirming details. We hope that person's going to be okay. We have no word on how they're doing right now, no word on their condition, but we are certainly there, and we're working to see what we can find out for you.
I mean, the one, there's no good news here, but the one good news is that it does not sound like this was what you would think of as an active shooter, mass shooting situation in which somebody targeted multiple people. Perhaps that happened, but all we have confirmed right now is one person has been injured. And I think if there would have been multiple people shot, we would have heard that by now from police. So in that sense, worst case scenario type stuff, that could actually be considered maybe some good news, just because we've seen the worst case scenario play out way too often in our country, so many times in just the last year to 2 years, in fact. As we continue to take our aerial look, we have Chase Rutledge, our pilot of Sky 5, giving us a great view from the air above Penn Square Mall. And
you see now there's crime scene tape that's up. So they've cordoned off a certain area. They've put the crime scene tape up. You see an ambulance on scene. We know there are multiple ambulances because we've seen another one in a different area, fire crews, and a extreme police presence there right now. Let's go up live to our Sky 5 pilot, Chase Rutledge, who has been flying overhead right now. And Chase, tell us what you're seeing.
Yeah, that's right, guys. Well, I mean, what we're seeing more and more of those customers being gradually brought out of the mall as they continue to evacuate. And I think they're using this one exit right here by Texas State Brazil as their main point of exit for the mall as they bring them out. And undoubtedly, they're bringing them to this one area that you see here with a mass gathering of law enforcement vehicles to do some questioning as this continues to develop. And they're trying to find out exactly what happened. And I don't know if I haven't heard if you guys said if they have a suspect in custody yet, but I know that they're trying to investigate everyone that's in the mall, and it's going to take a while because, like you said, this is a heavy shopping time. There's a lot of people here at Penn Square Mall, so it's going to take a while to get through all of the people that were in the mall when this shooting took place. And I can only imagine the people that were in there, and you know, if I was in there, with the fear that you're struck with when you hear those gunshots go off, wondering where it came from and who was involved, and so this is a developing story. It's going to continue to develop as the evening goes in, and I'm sure after sunset. So if you're planning on doing any shopping at Penn Square Mall, I would probably change to a different venue because this is going to be closed for a while.
Chase, we just got to get this information across right now. Oklahoma City Police just tweeting out, and this is a quote, "At this time, we've located one shooting victim from the incident at Penn Square Mall. This appears to be an isolated incident that began as a disturbance between individuals." And you're seeing this quote right now on your screen from Oklahoma City Police. It goes on to say, "No suspect description at this time. Officers still working to clear the mall." So police saying it's an isolated incident, but saying there's no suspect description. So that leads us to believe that no one is in custody right now, and they're still working to find the shooter, but they're also still working to get people out of the mall.
Yeah, absolutely. You're watching the KOCO News at 5 o'clock right now. We're following a shooting at Penn Square Mall in Oklahoma City. one person shot. We do not know the extent of the injuries, and it sounds like the shooter is still out there somewhere. It does not sound, based on that tweet that we just saw from Oklahoma City Police, that we do have somebody in custody at this time. We do have Chase Rutledge, our Sky 5 pilot, overhead. Chase, I'm sorry we had to cut you off there right as you were finishing up, but we needed to get that information across. We've been talking a bit about the traffic surrounding the mall. Obviously, we're at rush hour right now anyways, but we had the off-ramp and on-ramp right there at 44 at Northwest Expressway, east and westbound, both shut down. Can you tell us anything about what you're seeing traffic-wise surrounding that area?
Yeah, guys, we're seeing the traffic's really not that bad. The most of the traffic is on Northwest Expressway and on Penn, and but Northwest Expressway pretty busy for that eastbound traffic. But like we said, you're not able to get in or out of the parking lot here in Penn Square Mall, so that's kind of a headache. I know for a lot of them that are still at the mall, they're not letting them leave. They've got all of the entrances and exits blocked off. They are, I take that back, they are, it looks like on the east side of the mall, they are letting a few cars out, but you have to go through like a police checkpoint, it looks like. But again, a little bit of chaos here as they continue to investigate what's happening here at Penn Square Mall. We're going to keep an eye on it from Sky 5. Back to you guys.
Okay, Chase Rutledge reporting live for us from Sky 5. So we had heard before about the traffic situation from Dylan because we saw some cars leaving and then it would stop and no one would be let out and then it would start up again. But it sounds like from Chase that they may have a police checkpoint because remember,
makes sense.
They're still looking for the suspect at this point. They don't have a suspect description right now. They're working to get that. They have a lot of people to talk to. Just think about what the food court probably looked like when this shooting happened. It's 5 o'clock right now. This has been going on for at least an hour. Let's go to Dylan Richards, who's been live on scene. And Dylan, you've had a chance to talk to a few different witnesses who heard the shots as they rang out.
Jessica, yeah, we're joining police press conference live. We'll go ahead now.
Approximately 3:54 this afternoon, officers answered a shooting call at Penn Square Mall. Witnesses said that two subjects got into an argument in one of the shoe stores. One subject pulled a gun, shooting the other in the chest, and then fled the scene. This victim was transported to a local hospital. It's unknown what his condition is at this time. Officers are currently clearing the mall, searching for the suspect. Please stay out of the area at this time until the incident is resolved. This appears to be an isolated incident between these two individuals, and we are only aware of one victim at this time. And again, please stay away from this area while officers continue to search the mall. This is not an active shooter situation. It does appear to be an isolated incident between two individuals.
To be clear, what's the status of that suspect right now?
The suspect is outstanding. We do not know his current location. They are reviewing video from the mall to determine where he may be.
Do you know he's still inside the mall, or do you think he...
We don't know where he is at this time. They are currently searching the entire mall and reviewing video to see if they can locate him.
What's the victim's condition?
I don't have a condition on the victim yet. I know he was shot in the chest and transported to the hospital, but I do not have an update.
Do you know how many shots were fired?
I do not.
You said this was inside the Foot Locker, is that correct?
It was in a shoe store. I believe it was Foot Locker.
Do you think it was inside it? We've heard a couple reports of people saying it may have been near the food court, but you think you're saying it inside of the...
Inside of a shoe store is the current information I have.
Do you know how many shots were fired?
I do not.
We don't know, I assume, what kind of gun was used or anything along those lines, right?
Information. This is very early after the incident occurred, and they're still investigating. Still a pretty active scene for us, trying to get everything under control and to complete the search of the mall.
How far along is that process, and how far along are you all in clearing Penn Square Mall?
I couldn't give you the information on how much of the mall has been cleared at this point, but they are still clearing the mall. I know it is not cleared at this time.
And we've seen...
How much of an area are police searching for this person?
They are searching the entire mall at this time.
Has that perimeter extended beyond the mall? Do you think he could be away from the mall?
We do not know if he left the building or not at this time.
What is the status right now for people who have been leaving? We've seen a couple cars start to leave. Are people allowed to leave and go home right now?
Absolutely. If you're outside of the building right now, definitely you're welcome to leave the area. If you have any information, please call the non-emergency 911 number, 231-2121, if you have information on the suspect. Other than that, yes, absolutely, you can leave the area.
At this point, I know you all have sent a very large presence for a situation like this. What is this like for first officers on scene responding to a call of shots fired inside a public place like this?
It's obviously very dynamic. We trained for this. This is similar to many of the situations that we trained for at a mall or a large venue. So officers have been entering the mall in a very coordinated manner, looking for the suspect.
And again, because we are live, just for people tuning in, only one person shot, correct?
One person is shot. I'm not aware of any other victims at this time. And again, I believe the incident was just between those two individuals. This was not an active shooter with any kind of randomness.
How long do you expect this section of Northwest Expressway to be shut down?
I couldn't give you an answer to that. They will have to finish searching the mall, and we'll keep it shut down until we're sure that the scene's contained.
I assume the entire mall is locked down and closed right now.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you, Captain. We appreciate it. We want to show you all one more look here at the mall itself. We have seen quite a few cars that have left this area. We have seen things start to clear out right now. We're getting our camera set on that shot back toward the mall. We can see, of course, police lights, a lot of fire, a lot of police remaining on scene. But you can see, Mark, if you look right there, we see people kind of holding hands, walking out of the mall in groups. Much more people, many more people outside of the mall now than we've seen over the past 45 to 90 minutes or so. We have thankfully seen people allowed to leave, get to their cars and leave. And as the captain was saying, people are allowed to leave if they're not being held for any other reason. If you're just now tuning in, I want to update you on what we just learned from the Oklahoma City Police Department. They do believe that one person was injured in this. They know of just one person that was injured at this time. They know of one male suspect who they believe may still be inside of the mall. They are currently searching the entirety of Penn Square Mall to find that person. Not clear right now if that person is still inside of the mall or if he could have left and gone somewhere else. But they do believe this was an isolated incident between two people. They don't believe and are in fact saying pretty definitively that this was not an active situation of any kind, which puts a lot of people's minds at ease, although that does not change how scary it was for people who were inside of the mall, of course. And anytime we hear a call like this, our hearts just sink because you just fear what could have happened. But we do know this was, as far as police know at this time, was an isolated incident, and so we are continuing to watch that right now. The mall is locked down at this time, as the captain said, and we would expect it to remain that way for quite some time as that investigation is ongoing. They're reviewing video footage to try to figure out where that suspect could be right now. Obviously, they don't have a location as far as we're being told right now of that suspect. So that's a very critical part of the investigation right now, finding that suspect at this time, making sure that they can arrest that person. Back to you all.
Dylan Richards, thanks so much. A really key thing there. Clearly, they have video of him on camera that they are now using. They did not make that description public yet in the tweet. It takes time to share that information and get it moving, but they're looking inside the store. But the other key thing, as we just heard from the police captain, they cannot confirm if this suspect is still inside the mall. There's probably a great chance, in fact, that he left along with all the other screaming, panicked people at the time. And so that is a real possibility right now that police sounds like they're taking into account. But at the same time, they are being very careful in searching the entire mall, room by room, store by store.
No doubt they'll be searching every inch of that building, and that's a lot of square footage to cover. They're still working on clearing the mall right now. A lot of people in the mall at this hour. It's the holiday season. It's a jam-packed area, the mall packed with people this time of year. So a lot of people that they've got to get out of there. They're still working on clearing the scene. We learned a lot from the police captain just a moment ago. So we know that one person was shot. That person was shot in the chest. That person has been taken to OU Medical Center. No word on how they're doing right now, but police saying this is not an active shooter situation, an isolated incident between two people. It sounded like they talked to witnesses who said that they had some sort of argument, and then the suspect all of a sudden opened fire on this other person.
Inside a shoe store.
Inside a shoe store,
they
Foot Locker.
They thought it was a Foot Locker. And it's just incredible. We heard from other witnesses who heard it in another part of the mall inside the Apple store. Let's listen in right now.
What happened is we heard the shots and everybody just stopped. It went dead silence, and then we heard more shots and somebody screamed, and then that's just when everybody just lost it and just ran out the back.
And when you say lost it, just describe me, what did you see?
Everybody just running at once, and I mean no one really screamed. I mean everybody was just kind of silent while running to the back, and we were just like, hey, just come back here, come back here.
Oh, so you ran to the back of the actual Apple store. So like you didn't run out the front door of the Apple store, you went to the back.
Yeah, we just ran out the back door is what it was. We just all kind of ran to the back of the parking lot over there, and everybody just kind of waited, and some people went back in to, I don't know why. I don't know why you'd go back in there to that, but some people went back in, some of us stayed, and when I ran out, I just ran and got to my car and hung out over here, and I'm just walking back now to it. So I came back just to make sure, what we were doing and what's going to happen, and a lady said that apparently it happened in the food court, and she didn't say if anybody was hurt or anything though, so.
He said the food court. Now we're learning from police it was actually a shoe store. You see our live picture, our ground crew there. We've seen a lot of people on scene. You even see Santa there.
Doesn't this just say it all?
It does.
Panic, worry, stress, a man shot in the chest at the same place that Santa Claus is having children sit on his lap telling them what they want for Christmas at the time. It makes you mad, to be honest, when you think about it. I mean, when you take all these people celebrating the season, doing what they can, you think of the stress, the rush before the holidays to get the shopping done and all that. Santa Claus standing right there still in his coat and his hat, and you have somebody shooting another man in the chest inside a Foot Locker at Penn Square Mall.
A terribly just frightening situation. The witness we just heard from, he was very calm. He had a chance to really collect his thoughts. But just imagine, at least in those initial moments, of what the scene would be like, the chaos and just the panic, because you don't know exactly what's happening and you're trying to get out. And there are a lot of people. Some people ran and hid. They ran for cover. They just tried to find a safe spot. And a lot of people tried to just get out of there as fast as they could.
And we heard stories, I believe, from that man right there who worked there at the Apple store. A mother pushing a double stroller that people were stepping and trying to help her get out before everything else. Pushing children. It's horrifying. It's absolutely terrible. We have Chase Rutledge and Sky 5 up over the scene once again with the very latest from you, Chase.
Yeah, that's right, guys. And it's important to stress right now that the suspect is still at large. They do not have an idea where this guy is. They hope he's somewhere still in the mall and he didn't get out with the rest of the people that left early on. But with that in mind, it's going to take a while to clear all of the people out of the mall, question everybody there, and find this individual who did this shooting. So still at large, police working around the clock until this gets done, and this mall is completely surrounded. You are having to drive through like a police checkpoint at every exit to leave, and like the public affairs officer said, you can leave, you just have to go through one of those checkpoints and go past one of those officers to get out of the parking lot. But this is going to take a while to get cleared up, and Dylan was asking great questions of the guys down there on the ground. And there's still some chaos. I'm sure there's still a lot of people in the mall that are trying to get out, but they are being escorted out by police officers and by firemen. So it's going to take a while, and Sky 5 and KOCO 5 will be here as this story develops. Reporting live from Sky 5, back to you guys.
Chase Rutledge up above this scene right now. He's been overhead giving us this bird's eye view. Police saying that this is what they train for. They train for situations like this in large venues. I mean, just look at the mall. Look at what they have to cover. That's why there's such a huge presence of police there trying to track down this suspect. They don't know if this person is still in the building. They don't know if the person has left at this point. The tweet that they sent out said they did not have a suspect description. But the captain we heard from said they do have this person. At least they have surveillance video that they're looking at. They're looking at surveillance video trying to track down this person who just opened fire on someone else inside a shoe store just in the middle of the afternoon. Families inside going to see Santa, doing some holiday shopping, and then all of a sudden this happens. We've had a chance to talk to a few different witnesses who described the scene for us and what it was like. Take a listen.
It was more what we heard. We heard one gunshot, and then a woman screamed, and we heard 4 more. And everybody just started running towards the emergency exit. And we just followed. We were so lucky to be that close to an emergency exit, and we were probably some of the first people out. And so then we just immediately ran across the street just to get out of there. It was loud, though.
Yeah.
Very scary.
Very loud.
So what did it sound like?
You know, at first it didn't even sound like a gunshot. We thought that maybe somebody had fallen, or because it wasn't super loud where we were, but it was loud enough to where it was noticeable.
Well, and
so
don't think immediately that it's a gun.
No, we didn't think that was happening where we were, you know.
Until everyone started running.
Yeah.
We actually had to stop people to let a baby and her mom out. And then I feel like God led us to the back of the Apple store and we were able to get out so quickly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel for everybody in there still, and I'm praying for everybody in there still.
And you all told me you ran across the street. What brought you across Northwest Expressway here, and did you literally sprint right across the street?
We did. We just we've been to this bookstore before. We thought that might be a good idea. Didn't really know what to do.
Just wanted to get out of the parking lot
as far away as possible.
So you're hearing from a few different witnesses. They were inside when this happened, and all of a sudden they heard the shots fired and they tried to get out of there. Our live crews on scene, they were showing us a picture just a moment ago, and there's still a lot of people in the mall parking lot right now. They have the scene shut down until they can have this contained. So the mall is on lockdown right now, but people are able to leave. They're allowing people to leave this scene right now as crews work to continue to clear the mall and search the mall for this suspect.
That suspect still at large, the man who pulled out a gun after an argument inside what they believe is a Foot Locker and shot him in the chest. Let's go back down to Dylan Richards.
Evan, we had the Oklahoma City Police, a captain, come by just now and tell us that the victim in this situation is in critical condition. That's new information right now. That victim in critical condition. I want to bring you one other piece of new information right now. They do have a description of the suspect in this case. They say this is a black male who was last seen wearing gray sweatpants and no shirt, and that you can see red underwear. That is the description we're getting right now from police. So again, a victim in critical condition right now after a suspect opened fire, hitting a victim in the chest. We're also hearing that description of the suspect as well, that he's a black male, last seen with no shirt and in gray sweatpants. That's the update we've received right now, Evan and Jessica.
Okay, so Dylan, we're getting some other information. I just want to make sure I have this description right. You said a man with no shirt and gray sweatpants?
Yeah, what we were heard from police is that there is a description of the suspect, black male, last seen with no shirt and gray sweatpants, and that you could see red underwear, above those sweatpants. That's the description that police have right now. And again, they are reiterating they do not know if that person is inside the mall, has left the mall. They don't know right now, but that is the description that we've gotten from a police captain.
Okay, Dylan, thank you for that. So we have the suspect description now. They said a black male, no shirt, gray sweatpants with red underwear that we're showing as well. And that's who they're looking for. They say this person opened fire and shot one person inside a shoe store, and we know that person is at OU Medical Center right now.
So we also have learned some other information right now, and that is that members of the Oklahoma City Thunder were inside Penn Square Mall at the time of this shooting. They were there for what we believe was a private screening at the movie theater there. We're learning some more details about this. I just saw a photo of Steven Adams. He stands out in a crowd, walking out of the mall at that time in his trademark flip-flops, and so we had members of the Thunder inside the mall. They were made aware, mall security was, and police, that they were there inside the mall at the time, and they were evacuated out of the building.
And they were able to get out of there. They want to make sure that the players are safe. They want to make sure that everyone there is safe.
I'm not to say that they are more important.
Absolutely,
but
no.
what another layer to the story that just keeps adding up. This is incredible. So yeah, the Thunder were there. One person shot in the chest. The shooter, as far as we know, still at large at this point.
And you still see an ambulance on scene right here, and they have this as a precaution. They're still looking for the shooter right now. The shooter is still at large. They are not considering this an active shooter situation. Let's just make sure that's clear if you're just now joining us. Police telling us this is an isolated incident, but they are still searching the mall because they have not found the suspect. They do have a description, and they do have surveillance video that they've been looking at. Let's go to KOCO's Abigail Ogle, who's in studio right now. And Abby, I know you've been in the newsroom working the phones, working your sources. What have you learned?
Quite the account from a father who was inside the store Christmas shopping for his wife with his 3 young daughters. I just got off the phone with him.
J.C. Penney picking up a gift for my wife, and we were heading towards the elevator, and that's when we saw people coming towards J.C. Penney saying there was a shooter in the mall, and we ran. My daughters, my wife, and I ran to the elevator, and pretty much went downstairs and told the people that we saw downstairs to get out of the building. There was a shooter in the mall, and then the manager went on the intercom and said to leave the building immediately, and pretty much got to our vehicles and left, and just heard a bunch of sirens all around. And it was just a very frightening situation.
How old are your daughters?
My oldest is 13, and then my middle one is going to be 2, and my youngest is going to be 1.
And they were with you?
Yes.
They were with you. How are they doing?
Yes. They're doing okay. My oldest is shaken and very emotional about this.
Absolutely. So what exactly did they say on the intercom?
Just to evacuate the building immediately.
Did you see a victim? Did you see a suspect?
No, I did not.
Okay. And walk me through what the response was like as you all were leaving. What did you see coming toward the mall? I'm assuming police, SWAT, fire. Walk me through what you saw.
Pretty much people evacuating the mall, and pretty much just like I said, heard sirens, and saw people over at Macy's coming out and stuff like that when we were leaving.
Did anyone say anything? Did you hear from anyone who witnessed what happened?
No.
Okay. Just so you know, at this point, we just got an update from police. They tell us it was in a shoe store, maybe the Foot Locker. 2 men got in a fight, and one shot the other in the chest. He was transported, but the suspect is still at large. That's the latest that we just got. What does it do to you? What does it make you feel when you hear that this happened right down the hall from?
I mean, it makes me shaken. I mean, I haven't been in a situation like this before. I mean, it's just crazy at the times that we live now, and we just have to be on alert on things.
You never expected going Christmas shopping today that it would end in something like this.
Yes, that's right.
Well, we're glad you're safe, and we're glad that you're out of there. When you were leaving, were police checking your car? Because the suspect is still at large.
No.
Okay, so there were no checkpoints or anything like that when you were leaving?
No.
All right. Mike, I'm so glad you guys are okay, and take care of those little girls.
So there were no checkpoints as he was leaving, but that sounds to be pretty standard from what we're hearing because police know who their suspect is. An African-American man, gray sweatpants, no shirt on, red underwear showing, and that shooting victim is in critical condition tonight. If you were there, if you saw this, police want to hear from you. A man without a shirt, gray sweatpants, still at large. Guys, back to you.
Okay, Abby, thank you for that. You know, hearing from another witness, there's so many people who were there and who went through this really traumatic experience. We do know that the victim is in critical condition right now. This person was shot there at a shoe store, and police are still looking for the suspect. Now, police want to hear from you. We know there were a lot of people at the mall today. If you were a witness to the shooting, they want you to call. So this is a tweet from police, and you can see the quote right now.
Yeah, and there's the phone number on the screen as well. This is the non-emergency line to call, and that's 405-231-2121. Again, this is for people who witnessed the shooting but who left before you're able to speak to officers. And if you did leave right away, you just got out of there, nobody's going to blame you about that. But they do want you to give them a call, 405-231-2121. That key new information that we just heard from you, Jessica, that victim, we're now being told, is in critical condition at OU Med tonight. Let's
go to one of our ground crews, Mecca Rain, who's standing by on scene. Mecca, what have you had a chance to see there, and what are you learning right now?
Yeah, Evan and Jess, we're on the west side of the mall. I'm talking to people who were just allowed out of the mall. One person that I talked to tells me that they were working in GameStop when they could hear the shooting. very shaken up at this situation. They tell me that they took all customers in the store to the back of the store, locked the door, and waited until it was safe to come out. Again, we're hearing a lot of stories like that. People very shaken up, terrified. I thought this person was going to cry in sharing that experience with me, and we will hear more from them a little later coming up. We'll send it back to you all.
Mecca, thank you so much for that. You know, you cannot imagine how people are going to react, how people are going to feel when something like that happens. The fact that you're at a GameStop and you have to be taken into the back room and locked inside for your own protection. It's great thinking by the GameStop employees.
Right.
They're probably doing exactly what they were told to do. It's sad, but this is exactly what businesses are now having to train their employees to handle. But it sounds like that is exactly how it was handled in that case.
And we've heard, you know, different scenarios from people. In that case, they said they went to the very back of the store, they locked the door. Other cases, people were able to leave out of a back door at the store. Not every store has that luxury of having a back door that they can walk out of. And you know, some people just hid wherever they could, and others just left whenever they had the chance. We did just learn some new information from Oklahoma City Police on scene. They gave us that suspect description and some more information about exactly what happened. So let's take a listen right now to a police captain just moments ago.
The suspect is outstanding. We do not know his current location. They are reviewing video from the mall to determine where he may be. We don't know where he is at this time. They are currently searching the entire mall and reviewing video to see if they can locate him. I don't have a condition on the victim yet. I know he was shot in the chest and transported to the hospital. This is very early after the incident occurred, and they're still investigating. Still a pretty active scene for us, trying to get everything under control and to complete the search of the mall. We do not know if he left the building or not at this time. If you have any information, please call the non-emergency 911 number, 231-2121, if you have information on the suspect. Other than that, yes, absolutely, you can leave the area.
And when we talked to this police captain, at that point, he did not have a specific description to give us. He did say that they were looking through surveillance video, but now we know they're looking for a black male, no shirt, gray sweatpants, red underwear that were showing through. The police captain saying that there was some sort of argument, and all of a sudden this person opened fire on another male, and that person was shot in the chest in critical condition right now at OU Medical Center. You can see Sky 5 flying over Penn Square Mall right now. It's starting to get a little darker, so you can really see the flashing lights and the crime scene tape that's up. They said it's going to take a while to get the mall cleared. And remember, they have to go through every inch of that mall. They're still looking for a shooting suspect.
And it's a massive mall, multiple levels. The shooting suspect could still be in the mall. The police captain also admitted that that suspect could have gotten out already and could have already left the entire area. And so we do not know. Probably thousands of people inside the mall at the time. We just learned that the Oklahoma City Thunder, the players were there at the mall today for a private screening at the movie theater there. We don't know what they were, we haven't had it confirmed what they were watching. And so none of them were hurt. I saw some chatter, were they ever in danger? It does not seem like they were ever in any danger at any moment in time. But the fact that we had a shooting at a mall a week out of Christmas, we saw Santa Claus standing out there in full coat and hat and beard and everything, you know, minutes after having kids telling them what they want for Christmas. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, we saw people who were filing out of the mall. We saw children, we saw families who were leaving the mall. Really a frightening situation. But again, this was an isolated incident. This is not an active shooter situation. But what's unsettling right now is they're still looking for this person. They're still looking for the suspect right now. KOCO's Dylan Richards has been on scene covering this for us for more than an hour now. And Dylan, you've kind of been in that spot at one of the mall entrance exits, and you've seen traffic come and go there. Give us an update as far as the traffic on the interstate. Is that still shut down there at I-44 east and westbound on-ramps? Are the on-ramps shut down? Can you tell?
The only thing I can see is the interstate itself over there, which appears to be flowing as normal. We see an officer in the intersection over there. So I'm going to watch this car, actually, see if I can answer that question for you. That stoplight there is blinking red. So we'll see exactly what happens with this car here, where the police direct that person to go. You can see this car headed up onto, it looks like the on-ramp there. So those may be open now. And like I said, that section of I-44 is now flowing as normal. I want to direct you back over to this, the parking lot of Penn Square Mall right now, where you can see the crowd has thinned out somewhat. The number of cars there has thinned out somewhat as well. And Mark, I'll actually have you take a look to the west down Northwest Expressway and just show that intersection there, Northwest Expressway and Penn down the road there. You can see we don't see as much traffic at that intersection right now. We see what may be just a normal amount of traffic coming down Penn right now. So we're kind of watching that, because obviously this section of Northwest Expressway between Penn and Classen, or that I-44 area, continues to be shut down completely. That's where we're seeing, no changes in that right now. But it looks like those on-ramps have started to open. We can see people coming down, what is that, Belle Isle right there, just to the east of the mall that leads over to that Walmart and other shopping center. We've seen people kind of coming down that road, and that'll lead you to the on-ramps here going both directions for I-44. So those appear to be open at this time right now. But obviously police continuing to make very clear they want people to stay away from Penn Square Mall and really stay away from this entire area at this point. There's just no reason to be here unless you have some very specific reason to be here. It continues to be a very active scene. As you can see in the parking lot here, we see a lot of officers who remain on scene here, because as we've been reiterating, the situation itself is over as far as we know, but the search for this suspect who opened fire, that continues tonight, and that continues inside the mall as they're clearing rooms and stores, and that continues in this area as police continue to work here, Evan and Jess.
Dylan Richards reporting for us out there live, doing a great job for us. Dylan, thank you very much. You are now watching the KOCO 5 News at 6 o'clock tonight. This started a shooting at Penn Square Mall just before 4 o'clock here today. Shots fired, multiple shots fired, after what we are learning now was a fight and altercation of some sort inside what they believe was a Foot Locker inside the mall. 2 men arguing, 1 man pulling out a gun, shooting the other in the chest. That man, the victim, right now in critical condition at OU Medical Center, and the suspect, as Dylan just reiterating, was not arrested, is still on the run tonight.
It's still an active situation, a very active scene right now, because police working to continue to clear the mall, make sure everyone is out of there safely, and they're still searching for the suspect. KOCO's Mecca Rain joining us live just outside the mall as well. And Mecca, I know you've had a chance to talk to people who were just now able to leave the mall.
Yeah, Jess, and that's the perfect way to describe it. They're still working on clearing the scene here. I actually had a chance to talk to an officer who tells me there are still a lot of people inside, because if you look behind me, you can see that the mall is starting to kind of clear out here. I asked if there were a ton of people still inside. He said there were. There are still people on lockdown that were in storage areas. They're working to release those people. So we will continue to see people filtering out as the night goes through. And I wanted to pass that little bit of information on, because we're starting to see family members come up looking for people. And so I think that's important information to pass on. And as I said just a little while ago, I talked to a GameStop employee who was inside the store when the shots were fired. That person took the customers to the back. They locked the door for safety, and they told me there was such panic that they could actually feel the ground shaking underneath them. They were in tears trying to explain this experience to me, and I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more of that as the night goes on. Evan and Jess, back to you.
Yeah, it's terrifying for these people who had to hear this. You're not sure exactly what's going on. You're there shopping, and all of a sudden you hear a gunshot. We heard from people who said they heard 1 shot that was fired, and then they heard a scream, and then they heard more gunshots after that.
And what's extra terrifying about this is that we have now become conditioned that when we are in a place, a public place, something like that, with a lot of people, we hear a gunshot, we automatically, our brain starts going to places. And so if you're in there, you can assume that maybe this is perhaps a mass shooting, something like that. It wasn't. This was a fight between 2 people. But we could be happy about that. But again, 1 man right now is in critical condition at OU Medical Center fighting for his life. We want to get you back out there again. We want to take another live look. We have aerial views provided tonight from Sky 5, Chase Rutledge, the pilot of that helicopter. Chase, what's the latest from up there?
Yeah, Evan, like you were talking about, I was just thinking, we're conditioned, you're conditioned to think the worst. You're thinking active shooter, so it's going to be an active shooting, but thankfully it was just an isolated event. As the sun's starting to set right now, though, and things are getting a little bit darker, you're starting to get a scope of how big of a police presence is here at Penn Square Mall. Right, this is right outside the Dillards, but I can tell you, all around the perimeter of the mall, there is a police presence at every exit, every entrance to all the stores and to all of the the loading docks and all that. They've got all the areas covered, to include all the exits and entrances from the parking lot. And I can also tell you that Northwest Expressway from Blackwelder all the way east and west to Penn is also closed, so you're not going to be able to get through there. You're going to have to choose a different route. And shopping is going to be halted for probably the rest of the evening here at Penn Square until they get this cleared up. But just take a look at how many police cars and the presence that you see here. They are continuing to evacuate the mall, and we're seeing more and more people coming out of those that entrance or that exit right there by Texas State Brazil as they systematically search the mall for the suspect who is still at large. And I can tell you, we were talking about if he had left the mall with that description, I guarantee there were some eyewitnesses that more than likely saw him leave with everybody else. So for me, the chances are he's probably still in the mall, and they're searching systematically through every nook and cranny they're trying to find. Reporting live from Sky 5, this is Chase Rutledge. Back to you guys.
They're searching in a coordinated effort right now. Chase Rutledge doing a good job reporting above the scene right now from Sky 5 for us. And Chase, we've talked to so many different witnesses at this point, and we talked to one witness who says that he actually saw the shooting happen. Let's take a listen and see what he had to say.
That's when I heard gunshots, and I looked around, and that's when I seen a guy fall on the ground. He fell, and then I guess the guy started shooting at him. He was trying to run away, but he wasn't able to run. He wasn't able to run because he fell, and then I'm not sure if the guy kept shooting at him or not. All I heard was a couple more shots, and I ran, tried to look for my little sisters and hide back in the dressing room. It was the first experience. It was horrible. You didn't know what to do at that time, because all you can do was just run away and hide and make sure you and your family were safe. That's the only thing you could do. I was trying to look for them right when I ran inside. I was trying to look for my little sisters. Found one, and I was trying to look for the other one and get back to the room as fast as I can.
Yeah, you heard him say all you can do is run away and hide and make sure your family is okay when you experience something so terrifying like that. Through situations like this, agencies now, a lot of times they take to Twitter to provide information to us and to the public. And that's what Oklahoma City Police, that's what they've been doing. This was the first tweet about the shooting that we saw. They said, currently working a shooting call at Penn Square Mall. Will update as details emerge. Please avoid the mall at this time. So we're just giving you a timeline of OCPD's tweets this afternoon as this shooting has taken place.
And then we got a little bit more information a few minutes later. They said we've located one shooting victim from the incident. That has not changed, by the way. That is still the fact. They said that this appeared to be an isolated incident, a disturbance between individuals. We since learned that was, they believe, at a Foot Locker where this happened. Officers still working to clear the mall, which continues at this time.
At that point, they said they didn't have a description, but they do now. And as you're reading this, let me give you that description because it's important. They say a black man with no shirt, gray sweatpants, and red underwear. Oklahoma City Police, there's that description right there for you, so you can see it for yourself. This person is still at large. They're still searching for this man. They don't know if he is on the premises. They don't know if he's left the building, but they're going to make sure that they've checked every nook and cranny of Penn Square Mall. They have a lot of square footage to cover. If we could go back to that tweet, and I'll read that last tweet from Oklahoma City Police because they want to hear from you. If you witnessed the shooting, if you heard something, if you saw something, call police. This is what they say. If you were a witness to the shooting at Penn Square Mall and left without speaking with officers, please call our non-emergency line to report. That number is 405-231-2121. It is so important. Don't think, oh, well, they have a lot of people that have already called. They don't need to hear from me. They want to hear from you. If you have something to say about this shooting that can help the police investigation, please make sure to call them if they have not had a chance to catch you before you left.
So Oklahoma City Police sharing information over Twitter. I just checked. Penn Square Mall is trending nationally at this time. We have our Dylan Richards, who's been doing a great job covering this for us from the ground outside the mall. We go to him now with the very latest. Dylan.
Evan, we are working right now to learn as much as we can about this incident and about exactly what happened here. I want to remind folks that as far as we've been told so far by police, the victim in this case is in critical condition. Obviously, a very, very serious incident happening here. I want to show you what this looks like. We know we keep showing you this parking lot from the south side of Northwest Expressway. You can see many, many, many police units continue to stay out here right on the south side of the mall right now. And we're continuing to follow exactly what they're doing. And I think really the critical thing to reiterate for people right now is to not come into this area, to not come near the mall, not come near this intersection, anything like that. Partially so that the police can continue to do their work, their very active investigation that they're doing right now. But on top of that, this suspect is still loose. This suspect, as far as we've been told by police right now, is not in custody. They believed sort of at one point that he was inside of Penn Square Mall. They were clearing, and you can imagine how long this would take, clearing room by room inside the mall, but they don't know if he's left the mall or where he could be. I know we do have that suspect description that the police gave us just a short while ago, a black male who was last seen without a shirt on and wearing sweatpants, and that there was visible red underwear. That was the description that we got from the police very recently. That person, they believe, is the suspect, and they believe is still loose and out in some area. I'm watching the police continuing to talk to some members of the press over here. We're working to figure out when we can get closer to this scene and try to give you a closer look at exactly what happened here. We're trying to track down some more folks who have been inside of the mall who actually saw what happened. It looks like we may be able to cross the street or at least get a little bit closer. So for just a couple minutes, I'll send it back to you. We'll get back on with you once we've gotten a little bit closer. Back to you all.
Dylan, thanks very much. We appreciate that. We wanted to get you back to hearing from people who were inside the mall when this happened. We have another witness for you to hear now.
What happened is, like, we heard the shots and everybody just like stopped. It went like dead silence, and then we heard more shots and somebody screamed, and then that's just when everybody just like lost it and just ran out the back.
And when you say lost it, just describe me, what did you see?
Like everybody just running at once, and I mean no one really screamed. I mean everybody was just kind of like, like silent while running to the back, and we were just like, hey, just come back here, come back here.
Oh, so you ran to the back of the actual Apple store. So like you didn't run out the front door of the Apple store, you went to the back.
Yeah, we just ran out the back door is what it was. We just all kind of ran to the back of the parking lot over there, and everybody just kind of waited, and some people went back in to, I don't know why. I don't know why you'd go back in there to that, but some people went back in, some of us stayed, and when I ran out, I just ran and got into my car and hung out over here, and I'm just walking back now to it. So I came back just to make sure, what we were doing and what's going to happen. And a lady said that apparently it happened in the food court, and she didn't say if anybody was hurt or anything though. So.
And so that man was an employee there at the Apple store. It's important to mention, as we just heard from Mecca Rain, there's still a lot of people inside that mall right now. Yeah. There's a lot of people who, instead of running out of the mall, they just had to lock themselves and hide. And so she said that family members, perhaps family members of employees who are working there, if you have not heard or if you have not seen, just know that there are a lot of people still in there who are hiding at the time. And so not everybody is out of the mall at this point.
And police are working to safely get them out of there. And police are stressing they do not want you to come to Penn Square Mall. It's a busy area already, and they've got some areas blocked off. If you don't need to be in that area, they would prefer that you just stay away right now, because this is still a very active scene. The mall is locked down right now, and they want to make sure that they look through every possible spot in that mall to look for this suspect right now. Let's listen in to the latest update that we heard from Oklahoma City Police.
The suspect is outstanding. We do not know his current location. They are reviewing video from the mall to determine where he may be. We don't know where he is at this time. They are currently searching the entire mall and reviewing video to see if they can locate him. I don't have a condition on the victim yet. I know he was shot in the chest and transported to the hospital. This is very early after the incident occurred, and they're still investigating. Still a pretty active scene for us, trying to get everything under control and to complete the search of the mall. We do not know if he left the building or not at this time. If you have any information, please call the non-emergency 911 number, 231-2121, if you have information on the suspect. Other than that, yes, absolutely, you can leave the area.
So you're hearing from Oklahoma City Police. They're saying that yes, people can leave the area right now because there's still some people there who are on the mall premises. People there are still working to get out of the building safely, and they can go to their cars and they can leave the area. But they do want to hear from you if you have any information that can help out in their investigation right now, because they're still looking for a suspect. We have one person who is in critical condition in the hospital right now, one person who was shot, and so many people either saw the shooting or they heard the gunshots while they were in there just spending an afternoon, maybe holiday shopping at the mall, maybe going to see Santa to take pictures with their kids. And then all of a sudden this situation is what takes place. This all started just before 4 o'clock. So we're going on almost 2 hours right now. And you can see the police presence still at Penn Square Mall from our live pictures from Sky 5. It is still a very active scene right now. And they're going to have it shut down there until they can get this situation contained.
So that was the tweet that went out a little after 4 o'clock, currently working a shooting call at Penn Square Mall. This is the Oklahoma City Police Twitter account. Later, they went on to give a little bit more details that we saw as far as an isolated incident. One victim, which we now know that person is in critical condition at OU Medical Center. But throughout this saying, please avoid the mall at this time. And then as it continued, they ended up giving more information as far as officers inside working to clear the mall. The fact that the suspect here, while at this point they did get a description eventually, we are getting an update from police, I was just told. Let's go out there and listen live.
If customers have left any items, personal belongings, bags, or anything at the mall, mall personnel will tag those items and store them in a secure location. The mall opens tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and you can call the mall at 841-2696 to make arrangements to pick up any items you may have left. If you have a vehicle in the parking lot and you're still on mall property, you are welcome to remove your vehicle. If you are not on the mall property, please do not come back right now. We are still searching the property. We're working closely with mall personnel right now, trying to clear the building. There may still be people inside of the stores, employees who have sheltered in place. Again, we believe the situation is over. We are just looking for the suspect. As we clear each building, we'll escort employees out of the building, but the mall will be closed for the remainder of the evening. And again, customers can return tomorrow and retrieve their belongings from mall personnel.
Police have shared a suspect description. Does this mean that you don't believe he's in the building anymore?
We still do not know if he's in the building or if he had left the building, but we did have a video of the suspect inside the mall. We just can't confirm if he's left the mall.
What about the people that were inside? They're okay?
Yeah, I'm not aware of any other victims right now except the initial victim. I know there are several employees who are still sheltering inside of their business, and that's mall protocol. Anytime that happens, they'll lock down and they'll remain where they're at. Officers are clearing one business at a time. Once they finish that, they'll escort the employees out of the building.
Do you have any better idea right now how exactly this started? I know that it was some kind of disagreement.
I don't know any details beyond there was an argument between two male subjects, but I don't have any details of what caused this argument.
So the mall opens at 8:30?
The mall opens at 8 o'clock in the morning. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you're hearing from Oklahoma City Police right now. Give us an update on the very latest right now. He said, if you're on the mall property, you can leave. But if you left items, or maybe even if you left your car, I'm not sure. He said they don't want you to come back onto the property. No. They want you to stay away, unless if you're on the mall property, you can go to your car and you can leave. But something interesting, he said some people left their stuff. So you can imagine this is a shooting situation. You're not sure what's going on. You're shopping. You hear shots fired. You may just drop your stuff and get out of there as fast as you can. Excuse me. He said if you left items there, if you left your bags, your purse, whatever it may be, do not come to the mall right now to get them. The mall will be closed the rest of the night. He said you could come tomorrow. The mall opens up first thing in the morning at 8 a.m. The mall will store those items for you. You can call the mall, you can go up there, and then you can go back and get your items tomorrow. But there's no sense in trying to do that tonight because the mall is locked down, it's going to be closed, and you're not going to be allowed to get back onto the property.
And then again, the other piece of information that we already knew, but it was confirmed even further, is that the suspect is still not in custody.
Right.
And they still do not know if that suspect is on the property or if that suspect has exited the property and is anywhere in Oklahoma by this point. This happened almost 2 hours ago now. And so we're going to be staying on this. I understand that where we wanted to talk to Chase Rutledge right now.
We have Sky 5 ahead right now we can go up to. So Sky 5, Chase has been flying above the mall now for some time for us. And Chase, at this point, there are still people inside Penn Square Mall. We heard police say that they have several employees who are still sheltering in place right now as police are searching one business at a time. But whenever they can leave, when the employees are allowed to let go, to get out of there, they can go to their cars and they can leave the premises. Have you been seeing many people trickle out of the mall? I know earlier we saw a lot of people leaving, more of kind of a mass exodus, and now
parking lots look a lot less full. That's for sure.
Yeah, what are you seeing at this point, Chase?
Yeah, that's right, guys. At this point, from what we understand, they're only allowing those individuals inside the mall to come out that one exit that you see there in the right side of your screen, right there by Texas State Brazil. They're using that as a control point. And you can imagine, I know many of you have been inside Penn Square Mall. You know how big it is. You know how many places there are inside the mall that you can hide. So if the suspect is still in there, there are a number of places where he could be, and they're going to continue to search, like you said, Jessica, systematically throughout the mall to find this individual, to find this suspect. The police presence has not changed. It's still a massive police presence around the area. Northwest Expressway still closed down between Blackwelder and Penn, so you're not going to be able to get through there. And no shopping is happening right now at Penn Square Mall until they get this suspect in custody. And like we said, it's important to urge that description. Like he was last seen wearing gray sweatpants, no shirt, and you could see a little bit of his red underwear sticking up above the sweatpants there. Now, I can also tell you Air One is still overhead. They have been circling this area the whole time. And Air One also has an infrared camera that they can use, but I'm telling you, I think the suspect's probably still inside, and it's going to be up to the officers and everyone inside to do their work and find this guy and bring him into custody. From Sky 5, I'm Chase Rutledge. Back to you guys.
Chase, thanks so much. We appreciate that. So Air One, the Oklahoma City Police helicopter, also overhead, which, as Chase said, means that if they don't know for sure, but they're going to keep it up there, keep looking for the suspect at the time. We have our Abigail Ogle joining us in studio right now. Abby, I know you've been working the phones, working the sources. Another thing that we learned about was the fact that the Thunder players were there in the mall at the time.
We had a private movie screening, and I just got this from the Oklahoma City Thunder. They say that Thunder security was made aware immediately, made aware of this shooting taking place at the mall. The team was never in any danger. They were safe during the entirety of the event. But I just did a Facebook Live, and a lot of you were wondering if the Thunder players are okay. They are just fine. That is the statement right there, straight from the Thunder. Thunder security made aware immediately. The team is okay. They have been evacuated. I also have been talking to some of my police sources, and you're seeing a lot of police cars still on scene, and there may be people in the back seat. Those are not suspects at this point, but I'm told that they have several people detained right now, giving witness statements, giving testimony. Many people witnessed this. Some probably have video or pictures. You know, we live in the digital age, so they are there taking multiple witness accounts as to what took place here. And if you saw anything, of course, you're urged to call police too. Lastly, I just got this, and we've been talking about all of the employees working this time of year, especially. Someone in Pottery Barn, 8 of them locked themselves in the back room. They were told to shelter in place, and they had to wait until the SWAT team came to get them. And I think that was close to your source, who was in the Eddie Bauer area. So they are okay, but they are going really store by store, SWAT team members and police, checking these people out, getting them evacuated safely, because, guys, at this point, they don't know where the shooter is. Back to you.
Okay, Abby in studio, thank you for that. She's been working the phones back here in the newsroom, getting some more information for us. We're hearing reports now that, and we told you, there are people who are still inside the mall. We know employees and customers as well, but there are some people who have still been hiding in the mall, and they're calling 911, asking police to come get them. So you don't know how you're going to react in a situation like this. No. When you're shopping and all of a sudden you hear gunfire, you don't know how you're going to react. If it's going to if you're going to panic, if you're going to run out the door, if you're going to go hide. And, you know, some folks just may not be sure what to do. They just want to make sure they're in a safe place, especially if you're hearing and seeing that a suspect has not been found at this point. you may not want to just get up and walk out on your own. You want to make sure that you have a police presence escorting you out of there.
Yeah, and so when we just heard from Abby about the Pottery Barn employees, not every store, as I think you pointed out earlier, Jess, not every store has that back door entrance to get out of the mall. Pottery Barn, I believe, is an interior store there inside the mall. And so you're going to run into many of these situations. And it is interesting with people now calling 911, wanting to actually say, hey, just so you know, we're here. Come get us because we're waiting. They are doing what they think is best, what they think is safe. I'll tell you what, it gives you a sense of scale, how long this takes to clear out an entire mall like this, how scary this really is, what the size that they're not just helping people get out, but the size that they're searching for this gunman who's still at large right now.
They have a lot of square footage to cover right now, and you can see Sky 5 overhead. Actually, Sky 5 is zoomed in, so you can kind of see inside the mall now, just looking through the windows. Really, you know, it's hard to kind of make out some of this, but it's a little bit more of a glimpse of just inside the mall, because we've always seen just the outside from the parking lot there. But they still have a police presence, a heavy police presence in there, because they have a calculated effort. They're going through a coordinated effort, making sure they're checking every single room, every single store, every single area to look for a suspect who could be hiding. The suspect may not be in there, but they have to do their due diligence and make sure they go through every single part of that mall. No stone unturned right now to look for this suspect. Police have been tweeting updates. They've been giving us updates on the scene. And here's the last update that we heard from Oklahoma City Police.
Out at Penn Square Mall, officers are still continuing to search the mall. The mall is locked down right now, and it will stay closed for the remainder of the evening. If customers have left any items, personal belongings, bags, or anything at the mall, mall personnel will tag those items and store them in a secure location. The mall opens tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. and you can call the mall at 841-2696.
841-2696. We'll try to get that phone number on the screen for you. But again, that's the phone number that you can call. Do not go there tonight. It is locked down. You're not getting in. So if you left something there, they're going to tag it. They're going to store it in a secure location. And starting at 8 a.m. tomorrow, you can go to the mall and pick up that. We're seeing a live look from above Penn Square Mall tonight. There are skylights throughout the entire expanse of the expanse of that mall right there, and you can see down inside where officers are going store to store, room to room, both searching for a suspect and trying to find people who are just in hiding at this point, scared and waiting to be kind of told that they can leave under the escort of police and SWAT teams.
So you're looking live right now from Sky 5 above Penn Square Mall, and you see a lot of a police presence, all of those flashing lights. We've seen police officers on scene, fire trucks on scene, ambulances on scene as well. And we know one person has been shot. That person was shot in the chest. We know that they're in critical condition in the hospital right now at OU Medical Center. And the big story at this moment is that they're still looking for a suspect. The suspect is still at large, a black male, no shirt, gray sweatpants, red underwear. There were a lot of people in the mall whenever this shooting took place, and police want to hear from you if you have any information that can help them in their investigation. They've been covering this scene on the ground. They've been covering it up above. Air One, their helicopter, has been circling the area, staying above. Chase was telling us they have an infrared camera that they can use if they need to now that it's dark outside. They have a huge police presence inside, SWAT team making sure they're getting to people who were hiding, getting to employees who went into shelter-in-place mode, and making sure that they're looking through every single possible place to see if they can find this suspect, who may or may not be on scene right now.
We've heard from a number of witnesses here tonight. We have heard from somebody who was shopping inside an Eddie Bauer. We've heard from somebody who was working at a GameStop, who was working at the Apple Store, who was shopping at the Apple Store, and we heard from a witness, and I would love for us to hear this again on the air if we could, please. We heard from a witness who, it sounds like he was inside the shoe store, what we believe was a Foot Locker, when the shots were fired. We're going to try to get back to that at some point. We do have that. Well, let's listen to that right now. He says that he heard the shots and he saw what he believes is the victim fall.
I guess the guy started shooting at him. He was trying to run away.
Okay, so you heard just a little bit from him. We'll see if we can get that back up for you. But yeah, he said he actually heard gunshots, and then all of a sudden he looked over and he saw someone fall to the ground.
And then the gunshots continued after that.
Right.
And he got up, he ran, and he hid, I believe he said, in the fitting room in the area. So you can just imagine, here you are at a mall the week before Christmas, buying something either for yourself or a gift for somebody else, and there is a shooting that happens right next to you, which, as police are telling us at this point, was after an argument inside that shoe store between two men, one man shot in the chest.
At this point, they're telling people to just stay away from this area. They are letting people leave the mall right now. And let's take a listen to the latest update that we've heard from police.
The suspect is outstanding. We do not know his current location.
So if you're now just joining us here at 6 o'clock, we are following this breaking news. One person shot in the chest inside a shoe store at Penn Square Mall.
I guess the guy started shooting at him. He was trying to run away.
The suspect, the shooter, still at large right now. Police searching the mall, surrounding areas as we speak. We have live team coverage for you right now. Sky 5 flying overhead, giving us that bird's eye view. And we have ground crews who have been stationed just outside the mall, talking to eyewitnesses who heard gunfire. One man even saw the victim fall to the ground. One person has been shot and is in critical condition. And the big story right now, the suspect is still on the loose. Police are going through Penn Square Mall, looking through every possible spot to see if they can find this suspect. They describe him as a black male, no shirt, gray sweatpants, red underwear. They've been looking for this person. The call came out just before 4 o'clock, so we're going on more than 2 hours now since this shooting first took place. And just think about the scene whenever it happened. You have all of these people packed into the mall doing their holiday shopping. You have adults, teenagers, families, and then you hear gunfire.
And after what has been a number of mass shootings here in this country, a lot of people, the panic, you can understand it. Them leaving the mall as quickly as they can, sheltering in place. We've learned a few things here tonight. One, the suspect, as you mentioned, Jess, still on the run. He could be still in the mall hiding. He could be outside of the mall property, really anywhere. We also know that police are working with mall security to look at security video that they believe they have of the suspect. This man without a shirt, gray sweatpants, red underwear peeking through, still at large, that they have video of him on their security cameras from inside, and that they were using that video inside the mall to try to track his movements inside the mall after this shooting occurred. So that is where we are right now, with SWAT teams, with officers inside the mall looking for this suspect, and at the same time finding frightened people who either work or were shopping at the mall who are now hiding, many times in locked doors, helped by the employees at the stores that they were shopping at.
Many of the employees sheltered in place. They got to the back of the store. They locked the doors, maybe with even customers who were still inside. We heard from some witnesses who said employees just kind of helped to usher them to the back of the store, lock the door, and just wait, just sit and wait until police could arrive. Some people rushed out of there. They ran out the back door. Others ran out just wherever they could. Some people dropping bags and purses along the way. Police said that they do have those items. The mall is going to store those in a secure space for people to pick up tomorrow, because you're not getting back inside the mall tonight. The mall is locked down right now. This is still an active scene, and the mall will be closed throughout the evening. Tomorrow, a new day, you'll be able to go back in there and perhaps find your stuff. Police want to talk to you, though. If you witnessed something, they want to hear from you. Let's go to KOCO's Dylan Richards, because he's been on the ground talking to people. He's been there throughout this shooting situation. And Dylan, what are you seeing right now?
Well, Jess, I wanted to update you on something we saw just moments ago. Just maybe a couple of minutes ago, we saw about a half dozen cop cars peel out of here, go out to Northwest Expressway, and head east. Obviously, we don't know the scenario, what was going on with that, but they were going quite quickly from right in this southern part of the parking lot out to Northwest Expressway and went east down in that direction. Obviously, again, at this time, we don't know what caused that quick exit by some of those officers. But here at Penn Square Mall, I'm on the south side of the mall, outside of Joseph A. Bank and those Dillards and where that food court is remains a very active scene. You can imagine people out here who are kind of gathering around, who had just left the mall and have been through this very traumatic incident, are gathering out here. I can even see, Mark, can you see that Embark bus right there? I'm not sure how long that bus has been there, but there's an Embark bus waiting there that's caught up in all of this, and there are folks on that bus as well. 2 Embark buses I'm actually seeing right near each other. A lot of people who were just out doing their holiday shopping.
That was Dylan Richards
very
reporting.
Serious police investigation.
Okay. Sorry, Dylan, we lost you for a second, but please continue.
Yeah, finish up.
No, sure. I was just saying that, you know, we're people responding to a very serious police investigation. I was just going to mention, you can imagine how many people who are here doing their Christmas shopping, and a lot of folks that we've talked to who have left this scene. And we're going to watch this police car just to see where it goes. It looks like he'll exit going south out of this parking lot, headed down to Northwest Expressway, and he may turn left, may turn right. I'm interested to know where he goes. He's headed now west on Northwest Expressway. That's going to be in the direction of Penn is out over there. And he has now shut his lights off and is headed that way. So we will continue to watch, you know, kind of the movements of officers right now. They are still searching for this suspect, but you know, again, I just wanted to make the point. We've talked to so many folks who have come out of the mall, who have holiday shopping, or who just work inside of this mall. And one guy I was talking to, he works in the Apple store, and he said this is one of those things. You work in a mall, you work in a public place, you just fear that someday this will happen to you. And although this was not an active shooter situation, it has happened to so many people here. Evan, Jess.
The fact that it was an isolated shooting does not necessarily make it any less scary for any of the people who were working or shopping inside. So as that search for the shooter continues tonight, inside and outside the mall at the same time, so is our concern for the person who was shot today. That person was transported, what we understand, in critical condition to OU Med. We have our Portia Riley there live for us tonight. Portia?
Yes, Evan, Jess, I just spoke with the victim's girlfriend's mother, who says they are just devastated, hoping and praying he pulls through. Now, right now, we know he's here at OU Medical in critical condition after being shot in the chest. Police saying they believe that it's an isolated incident. The mom says, now I asked her, did they know each other? She says that her daughter says that they had gotten an argument in the past and the suspect had tried to rob him. So she says this wasn't just a random situation. They did have a run-in in the past. She says police have been talking to her daughter all day. She's not only worried about him, worried about her daughter and what she's going through. Now, again, for those just joining us, I'm just going to run you through what police are saying right now. They're saying that the suspect was last seen shirtless in gray sweatpants, and if you see him, call police. Right now, I'm going to be here at OU Medical, continuing to keep you guys updated on the condition of our victim. Back to you guys.
Portia Riley reporting live for us. Thank you for that, Portia. Just, you know, we're thinking about this family right now. It is a tough situation. She had a chance to talk to the victim's family. Now, we're also hearing from Penn Square Mall. We know that they have a no weapons policy at Penn Square Mall, and this is the first time that we're hearing from the mall. So let's look at this quote together. It says, as this is a police matter, please refer all inquiries to the Oklahoma City Police Department. So just a matter of fact, they want everything to go through police because it's still an active investigation. And police have really done a good job of giving us a timeline of you know, what they are seeing and what they know. So this is one of the updates from them about the suspect specifically. We'll get back to that in a minute, but now that we have this number, I'll tell you about this. If you left items at the mall, if you were just rushing out, or maybe something got pulled from your hand just in the mad dash to get out of there, maybe your bags, maybe a purse, that's the number to call. The mall is closed tonight. It's on lockdown. It's not going to open this evening. It will open up again tomorrow morning. They said 8 a.m. Call 841-2696. So I'll give you a second to go grab a pen or just put in your phone real quick. It's 405-841-2696. That's the number to call if you left items. Don't just go up there tonight because they want to try to get this scene cleared.
Yeah. And there's a couple things we want to get to, but I do want to go back to that tweet that we just saw because that is something that we have not yet shown on the air. So I wanted to put that back up there, guys, if we could. And that's the fact that they are describing the suspect here, but they also gave some more information. Oklahoma City Police did at the bottom of that tweet. So if you can get that back. And Jess, I know that you have that up as well.
Right. So I have that up, and here it is.
There
so
it is.
They said the suspect is described as a black male male, gray sweatpants, red underwear exposed above the pants, no shirt on, was seen fleeing from the area of Foot Locker, but unknown where he went from there. Still working to clear the mall, continue to avoid that area. That was 22 minutes ago. And then 13 minutes ago, they also said this. They said, just to clarify, we only need you to call police if you actually saw the shooting take place and or saw the suspect. We don't need you to call if you simply heard shots being fired. There are a lot of people who heard the shots being fired.
It's probably thousands of people today.
Right. So they want information that can really help them in their investigation. If you actually saw the shooting or if you saw the suspect, please call police. They want you to call their non-emergency line.
So we also have somebody else that we want you to hear from right now, and that is somebody who says that I believe his girlfriend was just calling saying that she is still inside the mall tonight. Let's listen to that.
She was hiding in the candy store closet near the food court.
Does she work here?
She doesn't work here. She was doing some last minute Christmas shopping for her parents. And I got a phone call, not a phone call, but several phone calls while I was at work. My phone was going off, and it usually doesn't go off. When it went off this many times, I just knew something was wrong. And that's when I was getting messages from everybody saying I need to get up here, and here we are.
How is she doing?
At the moment, she's doing pretty good. Her and her friends are safe. They're getting escorted out into a bus that'll take them to the very top where her car was parked, and from there, I guess they'll evacuate one by one.
That's interesting. So we heard Dylan Richards say earlier that there was an Embark bus, so maybe that's why the bus was there on scene. You heard this gentleman say that they were loading people onto a bus to get them to their cars. The last thing you really want to do if you're leaving the mall in a situation like this where suspects at large is just to walk through the parking lot at night to the parking garage by yourself.
And the fact that they're leaving one by one, it is such a process that, you know, everything that's happening tonight, every single move that law enforcement officers are going to be making here, it's something that they've trained for. It's something that there is a manual. There is a thick binder with procedures that they're following here right now. And so we're seeing this play out, unfortunately, right here on our airwaves tonight. Again, as I mentioned earlier, Penn Square Mall trending nationally on Twitter at this point. And so we wanted to toss back out live. What are we seeing here?
Okay, so we're hearing that this is a loved one
of the man that we just heard from.
That we just heard from.
Okay, so she just, all right, so we're seeing their reunion.
So the man that we just talked to, and he said his girlfriend was being bussed out to her car. From what we understand, that's the reunion there. They're reconnecting, you know, after really just a scary situation. You know, you've been holed up inside the mall during a situation where a shooting has taken place, and they're still looking for the suspect right now.
The fact that we don't know where that person is, where the suspect is at this point, is the scariest thing about all of this.
I'm sure there were a lot of scenes that played out like that. You know, what you want to do is you want to get to your loved one. Whenever you go through something like that, you want to get to your loved one and you want to hold them tight.
And our Mecca Range, she was speaking earlier to people who were inside the mall for a very long time before they could get out of there. She joins us once again live. Mecca?
Yeah, Evan and Jess and I was able to see a couple of those reunions. I wish you all could see the looks on those people's faces. Sheer terror, as you can imagine, coming to the mall, shopping, enjoying your time when shots ring out. Again, I talked to those two people who were near the GameStop. One worked for the GameStop, took the customers inside, hid in the back, no doubt likely calling 911 and waiting until it was safe to come out. As you can see, we've moved across the street. We have seen that Embark bus taking people to their vehicles, but an officer told me looks can be deceiving. You can see that it almost looks like it's almost cleared out here, but the officer tells me there are still several people inside. They're still questioning people, talking to people, still releasing people. So we're constantly seeing people trickle out and go to their cars. We've seen some family members show up looking for family members who they knew were shopping. So this situation is still ongoing. As you can see, police still have the entrances to the mall blocked off. Seeing a lot of people leaving. No one can go inside. So again, guys, we'll be here bringing you the latest. Back to you.
Okay, Macarena, thank you for that update there. Yeah, there's still a lot of people inside right now that they're working to just get out of there safely, as police are also casing the entire mall.
Yeah, and the person watching that from above right now, Chase Rutledge, giving us a wonderful shot from Sky 5. Chase, what are you seeing from that vantage point?
Yeah, guys, I mean, we're still seeing that extreme law enforcement presence here on this location, and I can only imagine what's going on inside the mall. And it's a good thing they're doing a lot of that questioning inside the mall. Temperatures are starting to drop a little bit. So, and I can tell you, there's probably a whole lot of phone calls being made right now from everyone in the mall that is sheltering in place until they find this suspect. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people outside the mall that are concerned about what's happening on the inside. As we continue to fly around the mall, I can tell you that there is still the same amount of police presence, and they are very controlled as to who they let out of the parking lot. They're making sure that those people have been questioned before they leave. And the street, Northwest Expressway, just as an update, still blocked off from Penn all the way to Blackwelder, so you're not going to be able to get through there, and they've got this whole area surrounded and under control. And so they're doing a coordinated search and a systematic search inside the mall to make sure that they hit every corner of every store to make sure that this suspect is in there or has left. From Sky 5, I'm Chase Rutledge. Back to you guys.
Chase Rutledge, we appreciate that, Chase. Thanks very much. We want to go back down now on the ground to our Dylan Richards, who has been following this from just outside the mall. Dylan?
Thank you. Evan, yeah, we're figuring out exactly where we can be right now, kind of talking to police. We appreciate it. Thank you. We're making sure we're kind of out of the way of first responders right now. I want to show you, I mean, that just shows you how busy of a scene it continues to be right now. We have moved a little bit closer to the south side of this mall right here. You see that where the Dillards is, and you can see, Mark, do you see all those police officers walking to our left? They're going behind that EMSA truck right now. Looks like they may enter the mall, so we may want to follow, just kind of see what they're doing as we continue to follow what's going on here. We've been trying to figure out how close we can get. We would like to show you the very front of this building right here, but we're just continuing to try to make sure we're out of the way of what's, of course, a very active police investigation. You can see what's maybe about a dozen officers headed into the mall right now, and we're continuing to watch exactly what the situation is. Crime scene tape up right there. We can't see around that semi right there into that section of the mall or anywhere past where we're looking right now. But you know, we're continuing to watch the movements of police right now as they, as far as we know, are still searching for that suspect and continuing to talk to witnesses and figure out exactly what happened here. And as far as we're continuing to learn, we do know that victim is in critical condition. I want to show you a little bit off to your right there, Mark. You can see you know, a large amount of police cars that continue to be here, and we're just kind of seeing people standing around. You know, in these types of incidents, when people have been evacuated from large buildings, you know, and when there are incidents in parking lots, at malls, at shopping centers, you kind of just see people who have bewildered looks on their faces, you know, outside and just kind of looking around like, is this actually happening to us? And at some point it does sit in, yes, it is actually happening to us. It's happening right here. You know, of course, we know this was not an active shooter situation. That's what police are telling us right now, but just the very fact that we're here, you know, so close to Christmas, outside of a mall, police lights in our faces, on a time when people are doing holiday shopping. There's wreaths and Christmas trees up. We saw, you know, all kinds of people around here. I mean, you know, it sets into, yes, this is really happening here, and this response is necessary in this day and age when you have this kind of report, because police just don't know what they're going to encounter when they get to a scene like this. You can see firefighters who have started to move closer to where that front door is. They've actually stopped walking now, but I do see those firefighters who are looking at the entrance of the mall right there. So we will continue to work the scene here, talk to folks who were inside the mall. We've talked to so many people who were doing holiday shopping, who were just work here, but we'll continue to work the scene here, bring you everything we know as we, you know, as we find it out. And I know you all back in the newsroom and in the studio are working very hard as well to figure out exactly what's going on here. So we'll continue to do that. For now, I'll send it back to you.
Dylan Richards, thanks so much. You mentioned those emergency lights that we're seeing as we continue to look at that, as well as the overhead scene. Not the type of lights that we like seeing this time of year.
Absolutely
that is for
not.
sure. We've heard from so many witnesses here. The very first person that we heard from, it was a phone call that we actually took out in the newsroom, and I spoke to this woman, Dina, who was inside Eddie Bauer when these shots rang out. She said that she ran out the back with so many other people in the store. Let's listen into what she said when she called into this here on the air.
I was inside of Eddie Bauer. There were probably 15 to 20 people inside that store. The mall is really busy right now, and I was actually just waiting on one of the people that work there to look for something in the back, and all of a sudden we just heard gunshots. I heard about 5 gunshots go off. Everybody started screaming and running towards the back of the store, and we just went through the storeroom and out the back way. We were probably all out of that store before the police even arrived here.
So you're hearing from Dina Tate, who witnessed this. Yeah, she said she heard at least 5 shots, and that's what we've heard from other people as well. And all of a sudden, you know, she heard screaming and people started running, and they ran out the back of the store and just tried to get out of there as fast as they could.
And it's so scary because, and we've talked about this before, the shots were so loud, even though it was on a different level.
Right.
And it didn't even happen outside, but she said it sounded like it happened right outside the store. You can only imagine that must have sounded exactly just like that for so many other people in the mall.
Well, we heard from a few people who said the very first shot, they really weren't sure exactly what it was. It's the last, you're not expecting that. You're at the mall, you're shopping, it's the middle of the afternoon. And then they heard a scream, and then they heard multiple gunshots, and that's when people started to just either get out of there or take cover and find a safe place to hide, where some people still are. Some people are still sheltering in place, some employees, some customers as well, inside the mall right now. We know that people have called 911 asking police to come to them, telling them their location, letting them know that they're hiding right now and they want to get out of there safely with a police escort, because the suspect is still at large. One person was shot in the chest. This was some sort of argument that had taken place inside a shoe store, a Foot Locker, and all of a sudden shots rang out. Police say a man shot another man and then took off. And we know that person's in critical condition right now.
So I'm hearing right now that we do have the young woman who was stuck inside the mall for so long, who just got out. We just showed you a video of her in her car. I believe that we have her to talk here live on the air. Let's go ahead and listen in right now.
Okay, so kind of talk us through what happened.
So we just heard the gunshots, and then we all just looked at each other and like realized it was gunshots, and we looked to the left and then we just saw people running and screaming. So we went out through the exit door and just all kind of like hid in the restrooms.
What was going through your mind as soon as you heard those gunshots?
I was scared.
I was really shocked.
Yeah, I never expected to be in a situation like that. I was just thinking of my family, calling everybody, letting them know like I love y'all, we're hiding, and just...
I didn't have nothing to say. I was
we were just
the whole time.
scared.
What was the environment? What was the chaos like? Was it
like the things you see, the things you see on TV and like news just all the time, like people just screaming and running, like that's all you could see and hear.
And little, like their parents picking up their babies
just running,
trying to just run out of there, really.
Yeah. I just dropped everything.
Yeah.
You're listening to Tyler Brock, our photojournalist there on the scene, speaking to these people. Tyler, I know you can hear me as well.
Yes, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay. How long would you say were they actually hiding inside?
Yeah, how long were you guys hiding inside?
Well, 2 hours.
2 hours?
Yeah.
Did it seem like 2 hours, or did it seem longer than 2 hours?
It felt shorter than that, to be honest.
It was long for me.
Yeah. In between.
Yeah.
I don't know.
When you're hiding for that long, what's going through your mind?
If I was gonna die.
I'm just praying. I was just praying.
I was scared.
Because then, like, you can hear people talking outside too. So just like,
so
is that the person?
Scared. Yeah, I heard someone in there too. They were just like screaming. It was like, jumpy. We were just jumpy.
You heard people outside. What were they saying?
I couldn't really hear.
One dude could just hear them. He said "man," the F word, and then "man" again. Like scream that out.
And Tyler, if you could ask them, you know, what they saw as they were escorted out of there. Did they see other people who were still sheltering in place inside some of the businesses?
What were things like on the inside as you guys were exiting and getting escorted out?
I just told them to look all around because, like, we were trying to watch the news while we were in there, and they said that they still haven't found the suspect. So I was like, when we get out, just make sure you look around because we didn't know if he was still in there or not.
There were cops everywhere. It was just empty.
Yeah.
Did you see any sheltering? Still sheltering?
No,
Just
we see empty
people there,
stores, really.
yeah.
I think we were the last ones out, to be honest.
Seemed like it.
Yeah.
What were the people like inside as they were being escorted out? Were the emotions really, really strong?
Yeah, I know I hugged my boyfriend when I got out.
Yeah.
Well, we're glad you guys are safe.
Thank you. We are too. Thank you.
So you're hearing our photojournalist Tyler Brock interviewing these young ladies who were inside the mall when it happened. They said they were really shaken up. They were there for 2 hours just waiting and hiding and really terrified.
And they, like everybody now, they know that they got the news in their, they got the app, and so they knew that the shooter was still out there somewhere, that the suspect was still at large, and they said that made it very jumpy as people were yelling outside the door.
Very scary situation. They were young girls too, young girls, and they're not alone because there were other families there. We saw kids who were with their parents, and there's a lot of people in the mall this time of year doing their holiday shopping. Let's go to KFCO's Abigail Ogle, who's in studio right now. And Abby, what are you learning? I know you've had a chance to talk to a lot of people here in the newsroom.
I just got off the phone, and this was a wild account from a girl named Chelsea. She said she was by the Apple store there at Penn Square Mall, and she told me there was one really loud bang. I looked around and we all thought a kiosk had fallen over. That's how loud it was. She says right after that, we heard bang, 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 bang. Everyone realized that is gunshots, and it was pandemonium. People were screaming, people were running. She decided to run into Pottery Barn because she knows that there was a bathroom in there. On her way to Pottery Barn, she ran into a woman who says she had just broken her hip and wasn't able to run. So she was helping this woman into Pottery Barn. They hide in the bathroom. They have no idea where the shooter is. They hear the door handle jiggle. Here's what she said.
She jiggled the door handle, and immediately I thought, oh, we've been found. They're going to shoot through this door. How? Which way? Where can I lay or hide that the bullets will miss me?
She was praying. She had no idea. It was actually the Pottery Barn manager saying, I'm here to get you. They were in that bathroom for 30 minutes, had no idea what was going on. Once they realized it was not the shooter, I mean, imagine that. You hear gunshots and then you hear you're hiding and you hear a door handle jiggle. I can't fathom. They go and hide. They're in there for 2 hours. They are being very quiet. They didn't want to call 911 because they had no idea where the shooter was. They are texting their friends to please call 911, tell us we were hiding in Pottery Barn. They were just escorted out by the SWAT team members with their shields. Back to you.
Abby, thanks so much. And they're hiding for 2 hours with a broken hip, a fractured hip at the same time.
Terrifying account. Okay, we're getting an update from the scene right now, so let's listen to the police. Seeing if we can get some better sound from Oklahoma City Police. This is. All right, so this is a police captain who is updating our crew there on scene. We're having a hard time hearing him right now.
But we have a crew there, so we'll be able to.
Yeah, so see if we can get you that information. Just trying to listen and see.
Customers, or do you think
Don't know. Okay, here we go.
Okay. I just know there's people in the building.
Okay.
Can I get your name and title, please? Yep, Captain Larry Withrow. W-I-T-H-R-O-W.
Oklahoma City Police Department.
Oklahoma City Police, yes.
And Captain, just tell us one more time what you know right now. Any updates that you have right now?
So currently the police are still searching the building. They'll clear every business in the building, and that will take some time. As they come across each business, if there are employees who have sheltered in place, they will escort the employees out of the business once it's secure. And they will continue until they finish the entire mall. It's a rather large building. It's going to take some time. The mall is closed for the evening. They will not reopen until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. If customers have left items in the mall, any personal belongings or items they purchased, those will be secured. They can contact guest services at the mall tomorrow morning or anytime during the day tomorrow to retrieve those items.
And you had a small update on the description of the suspect, is that right?
Yeah, so the description of the suspect is a black male. He was last seen with gray sweatpants, red underwear that was exposed above the waistline, no shirt, and I believe the video shows a tattoo on his back I can't give a description of it, but the video shows there's a tattoo on his back.
When you say video, you mean surveillance video inside?
There's surveillance video in the mall, and there's video from several locations, but I know that the video from the store captured him leaving the store.
And just to be clear to people, we think he's still inside the building. What do you all think?
We do not know the answer to that, and without video evidence or a witness identifying where he was last seen, we don't know.
The victim is a female or male?
The suspect or the victim?
The victim?
Victim is a male, yes.
And what was?
Yes, the victim is a black male. He was shot on the torso. His last condition was critical but stable. I don't have any further information on the victim at this time.
And you all believe that those two know each other, the victim and the suspect, or you don't know?
There was an altercation between the two. I could not confirm whether they know each other or not.
And you said, what was the last that you heard about the victim's condition?
Critical but stable.
And the suspect is a black man?
Black male as well, yes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Captain.
Thank you.
So that's the update right now from Oklahoma City Police. I'll reiterate that in case anybody's just joining us right now. We do know one small new piece of information about that suspect. We again know he's a black male, last seen with gray sweatpants, no shirt, and we now know he may have a tattoo in the area of his back. They have now been able to review some of the surveillance video from inside of Penn Square Mall. Taking a look at that, they've been able to see what looks like maybe a tattoo. So that is a new piece of information that we can pass along for folks who may be in this area, maybe living in this area, who may be on the lookout for somebody like that. Again, we do not know if this suspect, police at least, have not been telling us yet if that suspect is inside the mall or not, or where that suspect may be. I'll show you again what it looks like right now. We also learned that that victim is in what police are referring to as critical but stable condition right now. Do you see all those people coming out of the mall right now? Not sure who those folks may be, but there are quite a few people coming out of the mall right now. We, as we've been telling you, as far as we know, police continue that search of the mall and are continuing to clear store by store that mall. You can just imagine how many people were inside of the mall, and you can see all these people coming out of the building right now, trying to get back to their cars, trying to get home. Folks who are likely, see people carrying bags, likely doing Christmas shopping, that kind of thing. And so we're watching that. But police do continue that search of this building, and you heard the captain just now say that they do not know the answer to the question that a lot of people are asking right now. Where is that suspect? Is he in the building? Is he outside of the building? That is a very critical question right now that police are continuing to work to figure out. And so we are obviously going to continue to watch that very closely. And you can see this interaction happening right now. We have police talking to a whole lot of folks. They are actually, we were talking to the police earlier, getting some of these Embark buses, just to your left, Mark, these Embark buses kind of coming through, grabbing people from this area right here that has turned into kind of a gathering place for a lot of people, busing them down to wherever their cars may be. So we keep seeing these big groups of people outside the mall who are getting onto these Embark buses and getting to wherever their cars might be right now, because you can imagine just how many people were inside the mall that need to now get home, be reunited with their cars and go home, and that in itself is such a task, just the logistical component of getting all these people to wherever they need to be. So we're going to continue to watch that, and like I said, we've been working this scene throughout the evening since before the sun went down, talking to folks, a lot of people with very similar stories, hearing 3 or more gunshots, running for their lives, and having that thought of it has now happened here. Again, at this point, we know this was not an active shooter in the way we think of an active shooter, but this is the response to a shooting inside of the mall. That victim shot in the chest and is now in what police are referring to right now as critical but stable condition, which you may think it would be good news for that victim. It sounds like that person's condition has improved somewhat, and that's just going based off of what the captain told us just now. Evan and Jess.
Okay, Dylan Richards live there for us with a group of people who they were just escorted out of Penn Square Mall. We have some new video just into the newsroom. You're going to be seeing this just as we're seeing it for the first time. So if we can get that new video up as we tell you some more information about this situation. Okay, well, here we go. So this is inside the mall. This is our first look inside Penn Square Mall, and you saw guns drawn as police were making their way through looking for this shooter. And you kind of hear it sounds pretty calm. A lot of people just standing, watching, waiting. as police have their guns drawn.
It's a scary scene. It's something that you don't like to see. It was nice to hear that the person is critical but stable condition. That new piece of information coming from Dylan Richards just moments ago as well. This news is reverberating across the nation right now, and it's reaching some of the very top. We're hearing some reactions from people. Let's get it over to Abigail Ogle with the latest on that, Abby.
I just reached out to Governor Kevin Stitt, and he sent me this statement directly. He said, "I appreciate the quick action and the continued dedication of Oklahoma's safety professionals and police officers who have responded to today's incident at Penn Square Mall." The governor goes on to tell me, "We are actively monitoring the situation, and the state has offered our support." He also says, "Please stay tuned into local media and stay away from that area." That just in to my email from Governor Kevin Stitt. Guys, back to you.
Thanks very much. We appreciate that. If you're just joining us, it's been a process that's been going on for about the last 2.5 hours. Just before 4 o'clock today, there was a fight, an argument of some kind, police say, inside what they believe was the Foot Locker there at Penn Square Mall. One man pulled out a gun and shot another man in the chest. That man is now in critical but stable condition. The shooter is nowhere to be found at this point. They are searching the mall for him. He might have also left the mall. Police say that both are a possibility at this time, and we have so many people right now that are still in the mall waiting to be escorted out.
Yeah, they're being escorted out. They're being bused to their vehicles so they can leave that mall property right now. Yeah, 2.5 hours. Some people have been they're still hiding inside some of the businesses as police are going through every single business. They have to clear every single business, and you can see just how large. You've been there, I'm sure, to Penn Square Mall, and you see how massive it is, and they have to go through every business to look for this shooter and to also just make sure that they can get to people and get them out of there safely. KOCO's Mecca Rain has been on scene, and Mecca, I know you've been talking to witnesses who've been making their way, witnesses who heard the shooting and people who have also been making their way out of the building now 2.5 hours later.
Yeah, Jess, we're on the west side and we're still continuing to see people trickle out, but on this side, we're starting to see a lot of parents show up looking for their children who work in the mall. I was able to talk to one mom who says she's been calling her child since this happened and hasn't been able to get in touch with her. And it's likely because they had this place on lockdown for a while and still releasing people slowly. An officer told me the cell towers obviously in this area are going to be clogged. So it is difficult right now for people to get in touch with folks who are still inside that mall. I can tell you we've seen that Embark bus driving folks around. If you take a look here, like I said earlier, looks can be deceiving. It's starting to clear out, but as officers have told us, there are still people inside the mall as crews are going from store to store, making sure that suspect is not inside the mall, making sure people are safe. So again, in this area, we are still seeing people come out. We are seeing people reunite with their families. I talked to a dad who was waiting for his teenage daughter who worked there. She wasn't able to talk about what she saw, and we're seeing a lot of that. But again, as soon as we're able to talk to more witnesses, we will bring that back to you. Evan and Jess, we'll send it back in.
Mecca Rain, thanks so much for that report. We appreciate it as we continue to get our aerial view here from Sky 5 up above Penn Square Mall, where a man was shot in the middle of a shoe store here this afternoon. That man in critical but stable condition at last check from police. We are getting another update now from Captain Larry Winthrow, who we've been hearing from throughout the evening. The very latest from him now.
Currently, the police are still searching the building. They'll clear every business in the building, and that will take some time. As they come across each business, if there are employees who have sheltered in place, they will escort the employees out of the business once it's secure, and they will continue until they finish the entire mall. It's a rather large building. It's going to take some time. The mall is closed for the evening. They will not reopen until tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. If customers have left items in the mall, any personal belongings or items they'd purchased, those will be secured. They can contact guest services at the mall tomorrow morning or anytime during the day tomorrow to retrieve those items.
And you had a small update on the description of the suspect, is that right?
Yeah, so the description of the suspect is a black male. He was last seen with gray sweatpants, red underwear that was exposed above the waistline, no shirt, and I believe the video shows a tattoo on his back. I can't give a description of it, but the video shows there's a tattoo on his back.
When you say video, you mean surveillance video inside?
There's surveillance video in the mall, and there's video from several locations, but I know that the video from the store captured him leaving the store.
And just to be clear to people, we think he's still inside the building. What do you all think?
We do not know the answer to that, and without video evidence or a witness identifying where he was last seen, we don't know.
The victim is a female or male?
The suspect or the victim?
The victim?
Victim is a male, yes.
And what was...
Yes, the victim is a black male. He was shot on the torso. His last condition was critical but stable. I don't have any further information on the victim at this time.
And you all believe that those two know each other, the victim and the suspect, or you don't know?
There was an altercation between the two. I could not confirm whether they know each other or not.
And you said, what was the last that you heard about the victim's condition?
Critical but stable.
The latest update from Captain Larry Withrow with Oklahoma City Police. Critical but stable. That's the latest on the victim right now at OU Medical Center. And right now, Sky 5 is showing us the scene overhead. People have been still inside the building, sheltering in place, waiting to be escorted out, and then they have to be bused to their cars. And that's where Embark has stepped in. Let's go to Michael Scroggins, who joins us via the phone right now from Embark. And Michael, just tell us how you guys are helping in this process.
Yeah, when the Oklahoma City Police contacted us, they asked for our assistance and providing a warm place for people to wait in case they're allowed to enter the building again, and also to transport some of those who exited the building to the perimeter, to their cars and other areas.
Michael, is this something that Embark does often?
Yeah, we're pretty called upon by fire and police and just anyone in the community sometimes when we've got emergency situations taking place.
Do you have special training for situations like this?
Yeah, so we also participate in training alongside some first responders and emergency management program with the Oklahoma City Police Department, and to help us gear up for situations like this.
Michael, just procedural here. Who makes the call in these sorts of cases? Do police reach out to you and say, hey, we need you here at this time?
Yeah, they're the incident command, and they would always be the ones that would reach out to us to invite us to the incident so that we can provide assistance if necessary.
And at this point, do you just plan to stay out there until police tell you the threat is over or it's time to leave?
Yep, that's what we'll do. We'll be there for them.
Michael, do you know how many buses are in operation right now helping out with this specific thing?
Sure. I believe we've got one large bus, and then we've got two smaller buses that are helping transport around the perimeter.
Any idea at this point how many people that you've bused back and forth to their cars?
I don't have any information on that.
Yeah. And we know, it's obviously still an active scene, and you're going to still get more people coming to the buses. Michael, it's interesting you said if they just need a warm place to wait. And are these people who maybe that police just need to talk to still and they haven't had a chance to get to?
It could be. I'm not familiar with all the individuals and how they're routing those people as they left the building, if they have them by employee or by customer. I know the majority of what we've served so far have been employees, is what my understanding is.
Well, Michael, we appreciate you taking the time. We appreciate your company helping out in a situation like this. Thanks so much for answering our questions live on the air. We appreciate it. That's Michael Scroggins from Embark.
Michael, thank you. We heard from the governor not that long ago. He emailed Abby. We're also hearing from Oklahoma City's mayor, David Holt. He just sent this message out. You have likely heard about an act of gun violence this afternoon at Penn Square Mall. I have just been briefed by the police chief, and below are the pertinent details from OKC PD. I'm assuming that he retweeted the information that they had sent out after he had been briefed by them. Here's another statement from the Thunder, because the Thunder had players at the mall when this shooting took place. They were there for a private movie screening. From what we understand, Steven Adams was there as well. They were able to get out of there safely. The statement from the Thunder saying Thunder security was made aware immediately. The team was never in any danger and was safe during the entirety of the event.
This has been a really scary thing for a lot of people, employees, shoppers, family and friends of people inside the mall at the time. We spoke to some girls. I don't know their ages, but they seem very young earlier. We're going to hear from them once again as they talked about being stuck inside the mall for hours after the shooting.
I was scared.
I was really shocked.
Yeah, I never expected to be in a situation like that. I was just thinking of my family, calling everybody, letting them know, like, I love y'all, we're hiding, and just...
I didn't have nothing to say.
We were just scared. Like the things you see, the things you see on TV and like news just all the time, like people just screaming and running, like that's all you could see and hear.
And little, like their parents picking up their babies,
just running,
trying to just run out of there, really.
Yeah. I just dropped everything.
I'm just praying. I was just praying.
I was scared.
Because then, like, you can hear people talking outside too, so just like, so is that the person?
Scared. Yeah, I heard someone in there too. They were just like screaming. And,
I just told them to look all around because, like, we were trying to watch the news while we were in there, and they said that they still haven't found the suspect. So I was like, when we get out, just make sure you look around because we didn't know if he was still in there or not.
There were cops everywhere. It was just empty.
Yeah.
Did you see anybody sheltering? Still sheltering?
No,
just
empty
people
stores, really. I think we were the last ones out, to be honest.
Seemed like it.
Yeah.
You're hearing from these young ladies who were obviously very shaken up as they were just in the middle of this ordeal, the shooting situation, and you heard them say, you know, some parents picking up their babies and just running and getting out of there, and heard them say they prayed. And sometimes all you can do is just get out and say a prayer.
Yeah, I'm glad that they were there together.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm glad that they had each other to deal with that. And of course, when they got taken out, escorted out by police, it's officers with guns, probably big guns. In fact, we have video from inside the mall from earlier. You can see from the perspective of people who were sheltering inside of a building that was probably shut down. You see there, we'll loop it a few times. You see the officers moving in a group of what looks like 5, maybe 6. Rifles and perhaps shotguns there. Going to clear the mall, both searching and also helping people get out. But clearly they weren't there. It looked, Jess, to be honest, it looked like they were looking for someone at that point. It did not look like they were showing up to help those people leave. They were
and they're still
securing it.
Yeah, and they're still looking for someone right now because they have a lot of ground to cover. So they want to make sure that they can get everyone out of there. But at the same time, they are looking for the shooter who's still at large. May not be on the property, that may have taken off along with everyone else as they were rushing out in the mad dash out of there, or maybe went to hide. At this point, they don't know. So they're going to make sure that they do with their due diligence and go through every part of the mall. And, you know, just a really terrifying ordeal. You just feel for those young ladies who we heard from earlier. And also we heard from Mecca, who said, you know, some of the employees who were still inside, their parents. A lot of times there's teenagers who are working in the mall, and as a parent, really scary when there's a shooting situation, you haven't heard from your child if maybe the cell service was a little shoddy. So
which it can be.
And it can be. Yeah, well, especially when you have a lot of people who are trying to hop on at the same time.
And for a lot of, and for a while, again, we jumped on the air a little after 4 o'clock. This happened a little bit before 4. For a while, we were not sure for certain. We knew that one person had been shot, but we weren't sure if there were any other victims, and we weren't able to provide that information because we didn't know either way. So it's a scary, scary thing. We got Chase Rutledge providing these aerial views from us inside Sky 5 tonight. Chase, has that aerial view from you, has anything stuck out to you over the last few minutes?
Yeah, Evan, I tell you what, you know, other than still seeing people being brought out of the mall from this one exit, we did see moments ago there was some activity on the roof of the mall. There was some, looks like officers up on the roof that were doing a search around the rooftop area. And so we kept an eye on that. They left the roof, but we haven't seen any other flashlights there. But still, a systematic search being done. And you can imagine just how much it's going to take to search the entire mall. This is a big mall, those of you that have been inside it, but these officers are very well trained. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're going to do a systematic search from store to store, room to room, until they find the suspect. If, like you said, if he's still on the premises, they will find him. But I imagine a lot of people still in the mall that are scared and are wanting to get out and bring this thing to an end. But Evan, Jess, back to you guys.
Thanks very much, Chase. We appreciate that. You know, we're talking about the suspect. We do have a suspect description that has been given to us from police. This is a black man that was not wearing a shirt, a tattoo on the back, gray sweatpants with some red underwear that was exposed above the pants. And that they say that they saw on security video, Jess, the suspect actually run out of the store. We believe this happened inside a Foot Locker, that they saw on that store's surveillance video, the suspect leaving the store after this altercation, this fight, whatever it was, and again, the subsequent shooting that happened.
Yeah, they said they actually had a few different surveillance videos to look at, but one specifically, they were able to pinpoint a tattoo on the suspect's back. They could not give us an exact description of that tattoo, but a tattoo on the suspect's back, no shirt on, gray sweatpants, red underwear showing through. And, you know, we've actually both said a man, but we don't know if it's a teenager or a man. Police have said a black male, but at this point, we're not sure the age of the suspect right now. We just know that description, and police have, you know, slowly been able to give us some more information as they've been learning it along the way. But we have one person who is in critical condition but stable. Yeah. So that's a little bit of just a silver lining, if there's any, that the victim is stable right now at the hospital, but still in pretty bad shape, in critical condition.
The stories that we are hearing from people who were inside the mall have been absolutely incredible. The strength that they've shown, to be honest, has been incredible, as well as some of the other reactions that we're getting from outside of the mall. Abigail Ogle has been getting a lot of those, working your sources, Abby, and just talking to people over the last couple hours. And it's incredible, some of the stories that you've been hearing.
Unbelievable. I will tell you first, I was talking to a woman who was hiding essentially in Pottery Barn for 2 hours. Police finally contacted the store manager who was back there with this group, and they said, we are coming to get you, but you need to get your cell phone and your keys out of your purse, your bag, because you won't be able to reach in once we're back there, because they have no idea where this suspect is. The governor has been briefed on this situation. He sent me this statement from Governor Kevin Stitt. If we can pull it up for you, here's what it says. He says, I appreciate the quick action and continued dedication of Oklahoma's safety professionals and police officers who have responded to today's incident at Penn Square Mall. He goes on to say, we are actively monitoring the situation and the state has offered our support for this. He also urges you to stay tuned into local media like you're doing and stay away from that area. And another interesting tidbit to this whole situation, the Thunder players were there. They were at a private screening. You know, there's that movie theater upstairs at Penn Square Mall. We have this just in from the Thunder. All the Thunder players were okay. Here's what Thunder front office told us. Thunder security was made aware immediately. Now, the team was never in danger and they were safe during the entirety of the event. They were escorted out of the building, just like the thousands of others who were there at Penn Square Mall today. Guys, back to you.
Okay, Abby, thank you for that. We have some new video we want to show you. This is video of a fight inside Foot Locker. Remember, police told us that this shooting started with an argument inside a shoe store, they believed Foot Locker, and now this is video that we're just seeing into our newsroom of some sort of fight that's taking place. It looks like it's involving, I see women and men here. You see someone's shirt come up.
I see gray sweatpants
and you see red underwear.
Yes, I do.
And it looked like they were trying to maybe.
There was a number of people
trying to see if they're trying
here.
to. A few different people involved here. Looks like this woman's maybe trying to pull him off of the other man in this video. So this and then they kind of get untangled. And then it ends.
Yeah. So this is the first we're seeing. We're seeing this for our producers. That are hearing more about it, have we got confirmation from police or anybody that is what immediately preceded the shooting? Because that is very interesting. We just see that fight playing out with multiple people. It wasn't just two people like that, but multiple people fighting. Right. One man that looked like wearing gray sweatpants with some red either shorts or underwear.
Yeah. We're going to see if we can just get some more information on that and see what we can hear from police as far as that video is concerned. We have Brittany Rochelle, I believe, with the Red Cross, who is joining us now over the phone. And Brittany, tell us, we know a lot of times in disaster situations, the Red Cross steps in. And this sort of situation, are you guys stepping in to help?
Yes, ma'am. The Red Cross is on scene to provide canteen services, which is food and drinks for the first responders on the scene.
Well, that's a lot of people, obviously, right there. Brittany, when the canteen services show up, when you guys send that mobile unit, how many people are you able to help, to feed, to give refreshments to, stuff like that?
You know, when we show up on scene, we can help as many as needed. We have various volunteers that are going back and forth and bringing more supplies as the need arises.
And as far as supplies, is it pretty much just that, just food and water to make sure that these first responders who've been on scene for hours now, just making sure that they can just get a quick bite, a quick break for a second before they have to go back in and complete their job?
Yes, ma'am. That is what we have been requested to do at this time.
All right. That's Brittany Rochelle with Red Cross for us tonight. Thanks so much. We appreciate the time, and we appreciate you guys helping out our first responders there who are responding to the shooting at Penn Square Mall.
Dylan Richards has been in the parking lot of Penn Square Mall. And Dylan, last time we checked in with you, we saw about a dozen people, a number of people who had just left the mall. We saw a police officer who was talking to them. Are you still seeing groups of people coming out of Penn Square?
No, I mean, at the moment we see people, actually I'll just show you right there. You can see on that Embark bus right there, we got some people that are waiting to be brought over to their cars. And we have another group of people who are kind of waiting over here. They're now, actually Mark, look right to your right. It's funny you tossed out to us with that, Jess, because as soon as you said that, we saw this group who was just now in like a line as that police car was going by, but they too waiting for those buses. We have not seen any more kind of big groups of people come out. But Mark, if you look up and to your left, this may be tough to see. I can't see the screen, I don't know, but that is Air One, very low, the police helicopter over this mall circling, continuing to search here, because at this point we have not been updated on any location of this suspect. As far as we're aware, police are continuing to clear the mall, search the mall, maybe searching nearby areas. But as far as we know at this point, that manhunt continues in earnest. I mean, that continues to be a very active search for that suspect who, again, we don't know if that person is in the mall still or is near the mall somewhere. That continues to be a very active search and continues to be a very active scene inside of the mall right now. As we have seen, like I said, we haven't seen as many people coming out of the mall, but we have seen officers, and we can hear, maybe you can hear as well, Air One going right over our heads right now. But just to make the point of how low the police helicopter is, as we continue to watch that, but we have not seen those big groups of people coming out of the mall, but we have seen law enforcement and others going inside as that investigation continues. Obviously, they're trying to secure this Foot Locker or shoe store, wherever this happened, and figure out exactly what happened there. And we know for a fact that they're continuing to review surveillance video from inside of the mall. Police have been telling us on scene here that will be critical in this investigation, because they need to figure out where that person went and how they got there. So one of the tough things right now is that video can be so helpful to police, but in situations like this, there can be a situation where there is simply too much video, or not too much, but so much video that it takes a while for officers to get through it and link up. He went here, he went here, he went here, and kind of follow where that suspect went and figure out if that person is still inside or outside. So that is the very active investigation that continues inside of the mall right now. We're also waiting on an update from Oklahoma City Police, from one of their captains. We expect him to come back by here very soon and update us when he has some new information, but they've been really good about updating us as soon as they get anything new. And again, just to reiterate, we do know that the victim who was shot in the chest from inside of this mall, we do know that victim was originally in critical condition, and we heard from a captain that the last time that they heard that this victim was in critical but stable condition. So we're continuing to watch that. I'm seeing some officers kind of going under caution tape and investigating here, but we will continue as always to work this scene, figure out exactly what we can learn here, and again continue to talk to police on scene and first responders on scene and figure out where that investigation stands. Obviously such a critical part right now. That suspect who is outstanding as that manhunt continues, we want to figure out exactly where that stands right now, so we'll continue to work the scene here. Evan and Jess.
And Dylan, have police told you when they expect to give the next debriefing?
Well, maybe, I've lost track of time a little bit, maybe about a half an hour or so ago, the captain told us that he would be back here in around 25 minutes. That may have been closer to 20 minutes or so ago, but we'd expect a briefing or at least a little bit more information fairly soon. But obviously in a situation like this, as you all well know, there can be these long lapses or long delays as police get things together, learn new information and want to bring that to us. And an important piece of that is sometimes these updates from police. I'm just looking around to see if I can see the captain around here anywhere. Sometimes these briefings from police can be a little bit delayed as they try to make absolutely sure that everything they tell us is correct. But we were expecting something, we were told, in 25 minutes. That was 20, 30 minutes or so ago. But as soon as we have that, we'll bring that to you live, Jess.
Dylan Richards reporting for us tonight. Dylan, we thank you so much. We are approaching the top of the hour here, approaching 7 o'clock here on this Thursday evening. A man shot inside Penn Square Mall with hundreds, probably thousands of people inside that mall at the time. A mass evacuation and people, in some cases, still inside the mall waiting for armed escort out of it as the shooting suspect is still at large. We have at first for you right now a description of that suspect given to us by Oklahoma City police. This was a black man who was without a shirt when they saw him on surveillance video. Gray sweatpants, some red underwear or shorts exposed above those sweatpants. No shirt, and on the back they said that he had a tattoo, although they could not give us
Okay, we're getting a police update right now, so let's listen in.
Yeah, we're standing by for an update from Oklahoma City Police from a captain. We're just waiting for everybody to be ready here. Captain, any...
Is he setting up?
Yes, I think so. No, they're not. Captain, what are we learning right now?
So officers are still searching Penn Square Mall, clearing each of the businesses one at a time, evacuating employees who may have sheltered in place and locked down during the incident. We anticipate we'll be done hopefully within the hour, and then we'll have everybody out of the building. We'll finish searching the entire mall. Again, the mall will be closed the rest of this evening. They open at 8 o'clock in the morning. If you left packages or belongings in the store, you can come back, contact the mall tomorrow. Guest services can help you out and retrieve your packages. As they find packages, the employees will secure them in a secure location and tag those packages, so you can contact the mall tomorrow. Guest services can help you with that. But we anticipate probably within an hour we should finish clearing the mall. It's a pretty good guess, but that's what we're hoping. We'll reevaluate how much of the area we're going to hold at that point, but for now the mall is still locked down, and again, it will not open tonight.
When you say what area you're going to hold, does that mean that the area that's kind of locked down could expand or contract, or what would you look at?
Currently, we're holding the entire building. No one can go back in the building right now while we're doing our search. Once the search is complete, if we get to a point where we're confident the suspect is not in the building, then we can release and let the employees come back in to shut down their stores. We're not opening it back up to the public, just employees would be allowed back in. We will hold the crime scene, and that exact area will be determined once we clear the building. But again, we're still locked down right now, nobody going back into the mall. Once we finished our search, we'll reevaluate how much we need to hold. Employees will be allowed to go back in to lock up their businesses, and we'll determine how much needs to be held to process the crime scene.
I assume the suspect's still outstanding at this time.
The suspect is still outstanding.
If you all clear the mall completely, what can you say about what the next steps are in that search?
So they'll continue to pour over the endless amounts of video that is available from the mall. Mall personnel has been extremely helpful working with us. Lots of video available, and hopefully that will give us some indication of where the suspect is, left the mall, or where the suspect's at. We currently don't know where he's at. Maybe who he may have been with, what kind of vehicle he may have arrived in. Tons of video to go through, so that will take some time.
I'm sure what makes this complicated is the fact that there's a lot of nooks and crannies in a mall.
It is a rather large building, and you're right, a person could be in any number of places. So they're very, very thorough, and that's why it's taking so long to go through the building. Again, I'm estimating about an hour. If it takes more than an hour, it will take more than an hour, but that's a ballpark of what we're looking at right now.
Any updates on the victim's condition?
I do not have an update on the victim condition right now. I don't know the answer to that yet. More than likely, if he's outstanding, investigators may want to release video, but not right now.
How long do you think that Northwest Expressway here will be closed? That same thing, the hour?
Yeah, well, for sure, until we're done clearing the entire building. We'll reevaluate once the building's clear. I can't give you a time on the expressway yet.
Seems like officers still interview witnesses out here, brought in some buses, it looks like, to keep them warm.
Absolutely. As employees are evacuated from the building, the buses can transport them back to their cars. If they can't get to their vehicle at the time, Embark has provided buses where they can stay and remain warm.
We've been told that there's video out there of this actual fight that occurred inside of the mall. Have you seen that video? Have you heard anything about video like that?
Short clips of the video. I know several people have sent us video on our Facebook page, on the Oklahoma City Police Department's Facebook page, and that's great. If you have anything useful, we can certainly use it. If you have good information on the suspect, where the suspect may be located, definitely call the non-emergency number, or you can contact us, send us information on Facebook with good information. That would be helpful.
Basically, you don't need people saying that they heard gunshots, that kind of thing. You need anything beyond that.
Some good first-hand information, a good suspect description. If you have video or photographs on your telephone, that's helpful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Captain. And so that, of course, is the update we have from Oklahoma City Police right now. That we were referring to the captain saying there that he's expected to be back in 25 minutes. When that happens, we will bring that to you. Back to you.
Okay, Dylan, thank you. And that was Captain Larry Withrow he was talking to. He said they are still going to be working to clear the building. It's going to take some time. He said about an hour. So we're at 7 o'clock right now. It's been 3 hours since the shooting report first happened, just before 4 o'clock. Sky 5 above, kind of giving us that bird's eye view and looking in, peeking in the windows. But the captain's saying it could take about an hour, so we're looking at about 8 o'clock maybe when they expect to have this building clear. But they want to make sure they go through every single business looking for this suspect who is still on the loose.
So we do want to get you back to some regular programming tonight, but before we do, we just want to wrap everything up and let you know where we are right now. At about 4 o'clock, just before that, there was a fight inside the Foot Locker, we believe, at Penn Square Mall. It ended with one man pulling out a gun and shooting another man in the chest. That man was taken to OU Med, where at last check, he was listed in critical but stable condition. Witnesses have told us there were multiple gunshots fired in this. People, hundreds, maybe thousands, all fleeing the mall, many of them in a panic, as you would understand.
We want to end this coverage right now with a suspect description because the search is still on for the suspect in this shooting. Police say a black male, no shirt, wearing gray sweatpants, red underwear, peeking through, and a tattoo on his back. You see the description there on your screen right now. That is who police are looking for. If you have any information that can help in the investigation, if you saw the suspect, if you think you've seen the suspect, if you saw the shooting take place, make sure to call police, get in touch with them. They want to hear from you.
Of course, we're going to have the very latest on our KOCO News app, on KOCO.com, on our Facebook page, and on our Twitter. You can keep up to date with that. If anything big happens here, we'll be sure to jump in and let you know what's going on. But we thank you for joining us here for this breaking news coverage tonight.
You're watching KOCO 5. Breaking news is happening now.